Did you ever get the sense that Commander Chin Riley was hiding something?
Never.
Yes, I did get the sense that she was hiding something.
What was she hiding?
An affinity for Gilbert and Sullivan musicals. In short, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, you are the very model of a modern Major General.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir.
This week's Nerdfights is brought to you by the Darren Wagner School of Charm, Grace, and Anger Management. Because, fuck you. And also by these guys, because I guess for some reason they want to support Salty, those sons of bitches.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I hope that...
That's not a very Christian-like intro there, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Just talk to Darren. It's his school.
I meant
but thank you for your support, Darren. We appreciate it.
I meant the FU part by Bird.
Well, you know, that's Bird. I mean, come on.
You know, as a recovering curseaholic, it just triggered me. I'm sorry. How are you fine gentlemen doing? I literally, guys, it's no joke. I popped on the StreamYards like 5 seconds before we came. So well timed. Really no, I got to thank Salty for the inadvertent wake-up call. If he'd have called me, it's not his fault, but it's my fault. I'm a grown-ass man. I just wish he'd have called me like 15 minutes earlier.
I called you an hour before the show.
Yeah, man, I'm worse than a woman. Do you know how long it takes to clean all this real estate, first of all? Then I got to...
I was going to say, it takes some serious preening, does it?
Yeah, and then this hair. I mean, come on. This shit doesn't happen on accident. I use, Murray's pomade.
If you have good
you got to heat that shit up. You got to
So I've never had to work at my hair. It just naturally looks awesome.
Yeah. You're in the wrong chat. You need to join me, Melania Ortega. Hey, thanks. Captain Fan Nerd. Mom, what's up? Cinnabon Bunny. I got a feeling a lot of people are going to just call me a shill, and I'm going to lose a lot of respect today. Arrow, IDK, welcome. Welcome to the party, pals.
Well, you are kind of a shill, so that's okay.
No, I'm not. I didn't like... There are things I don't like, and when I don't like them, I'm very honest about it.
What have you not liked?
What about She-Hulk, Obi-Wan, Halo?
See the Obi-Wan. You get
season two Picard.
Season 1 and 2 of Picard, I shat all over. Discovery's garbage. I didn't finish watching season 3. Didn't see any of season 4.
I bet you can't.
No, there's plenty of stuff I don't like. Okay, just because I happen to like The Flash, Suicide Squad, and Strange New Worlds, all of a sudden I'm a shill. Hey, Anthony Mark, I saw your stuff on Twitter, brother. I am. All these people I love and who love me are just not going to love me anymore after today's episode. I don't think, because we'll get to it in our hot takes, I guess. But I do want to do an off-topic rant at some point in time, if I may, because you allow me this platform. Not now. I don't want to kill the mood.
It depends on when you say off-topic. How off-topic are we talking about?
I just want to have a conversation. With you two fine gentlemen and all the people joining us in the chat right now. We've got 17 total across the 2 channels. Thank you all so much for showing up. Please don't forget to hit that like button.
Stop deflecting. I asked.
No, but you gotta
let me do my shtick, man. Come on, I'm trying to help us both out. And don't forget to smash that bell for notifications so you never miss it.
If we put it to the end, that's inspiration to move through the primary content quickly.
Hey, I'm fine with putting it at the end. That way, if people don't like my rant and they dip out, they're not missing on the good stuff. Was that a tip? Did I miss? Did you get a tip?
It was, and I need to bring up my dashboard so I can read it because I forgot.
Thank you, Anthony. If I could highlight comments like I used to be able to, I'd highlight that one. I apprate that so very much.
What was it?
Melania, we're simulcasting. So not only is it on my channel where you are chatting with Arrow IDK and Anthony Mark and my mom and others, Captain Phantom Nerd, over on Salty's channel, the bigger channel, because let's face it, he's
that's all right.
He's bigger.
All right, so is the DNC tipped $1?
Oh wow!
I didn't know the DNC watched this. So the DNC says this episode blatantly shows the open racism in the Federation. Hail Kuroga.
So I went through
actually, but
Darren says he's depending on me to inflate the length of this stream to at least twice as long as it should otherwise be. I'm pretty good at that, actually. So,
yeah, he is.
We can go off the reservation. However, we've been pretty good lately.
Yeah.
All right, so what were you saying?
So Captain Phantom Nerd, if you look in my, because I promised Salty I wouldn't post the link anymore. If you just look in my description.
You're doing
he's asking me a question. If you just look at he's in my channel, so he's asking me a question. And if I put it in there, but it's in my description, buddy. So anyway, but we're here for Salty. I'm sorry. If it was somebody in your channel, I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have even.
You open that can of worms. I'm telling you, I'm just.
Hey, I'm about to be homeless. I could use it. You got a beautiful.
You are not about to be homeless. You already said. You said last time that I found a place.
Well, okay, so I actually do have a little bit of news on that front. Would you like me to share? It's good news. So I am kind of. If I'm homeless, it'll be like a day. It's not a big deal. So I was supposed to go check it out today. So I talked to her yesterday, and we came to terms with a price. So I think I've told you her whole downstairs is empty, right? So she's got like 2 rooms, and those 2 rooms are across from each other. But like they're one of those rooms where like both rooms have access to the bathroom. You know what I mean? So like there's a door to the bathroom from both sides, and on the other side of the bathroom is a room, and there's like a little mini common area. So I could rent that whole downstairs area out for like $700, or I could just rent one room for $600. So I was like, I feel like she did that because she just wants me to rent the whole downstairs out. So I think I'm going to do that.
Probably.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it kind of is a no-brainer.
How much extra room do you get for the extra $100?
Well, I get a whole other room and basically ownership of the whole downstairs area. And I would have like the 2 rooms, the common area. Like I haven't seen it yet, so I was supposed to go see it today, but I was up making, as according to Cinnabon Bunny, very bad thumbnails. I was up late making thumbnails. I was up late because I was watching Star Trek, and then I got a little emotional. You guys, I got to set the scene here. I really do need help. I was on my couch in my pajamas with a candle burning and a cup of yogi sleep time tea, cuddling my cat and crying way too much at parts I probably shouldn't have cried at. So I had to rewatch the episode. I think I was just in a weird
Of
emotional
this
state.
episode, you were getting all crying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I mean, good Lord, dude.
I mean, there were some good speeches, but I mean,
and I'm a sucker for good speeches. And she's talking about. I mean, all the subtext, like the I forget the character's name, the lawyer from the Illyrian lawyer. She was good, man. She was acting her ass off. I was loving it, and I like how she was pissing everybody off at first.
We'll get into the hot takes in a minute. But,
okay, sorry, but no. So anyway, so that's where I was. So after that, so I had to like kind of like cleanse my. I had to like I couldn't go to sleep like that because you can't breathe when you're all stopped up and So I sat down at the computer, which was a huge mistake, and I just cranked out like. How many did I send you? Like 6? I think 6 thumbnails. I cranked out like 6 thumbnails.
I don't know.
For the next 6 Battlestar shows. So like just so he could have them, because the Battlestar ones are easy because I can watch through them and pick out the screenshot that I want well in advance because they're out. Whereas Strange New Worlds, I mean, there might be a trailer out today. I know they show a clip. It's not the trailer, but they show a clip at the end of the Ready Room, which I haven't watched yet. So, I mean, there's things that I could. Yeah,
I don't watch the Ready Room just because I despise Will Wheaton.
Yeah, it's if you put it on double speed, he sounds like a cute chipmunk. It's so funny.
But just looking at him makes me want to punch him, and I don't like.
See, mom, this is why I love you. Hi, welcome to the party, LDG. My mom says, if you want to show it, she says. I teared up once when Una was telling her backstory on the stand. See, it was powerful stuff, man. Like, even just telling the stories. But anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But so you're going to have this downstairs place and you're going to move in there and
hopefully I got to go look at it. I didn't get to look at it today because I slept up until an hour.
Well, maybe not. Don't be up until 4 o'clock in the morning tonight. And
yeah, no, I'm gonna when we're done, I'm gonna call her and see if it's cool to swing by and check it out, or if she would rather wait till the day tomorrow. So,
okay. Well, I hope that it works out, but
I think it will. I mean, she was pretty much. I just hope it's a done deal as long as I want it. So I just want to make sure it's not some kind of rat infested basement shithole or something, because it just seems too good to be true. So,
well, if the rats are if there's just a couple of rats.
Well, I got a cat, so Goku could take care of those if there's just a couple. But we'll see.
There you go. So you're thinking. Yeah. And so, all right, so let's get right into the hot takes portion. Since Danny's so anxious to talk about it, we'll let Danny go first. What is your hot take on how do you say it, Ed? Oh gosh,
Ad Astra per Aspera. She only said it like 10 times in the episode. It's Ad Astra per Aspera. Do you remember what that means?
To the stars through difficulty.
Through difficulty, yeah.
It was hardship. That was the word that stuck out to me.
Yeah, hardship or difficulty.
Yeah, it's Latin, so it can mean about 8 million things.
Yeah, fair enough.
It could be
Alex.
Open this through
that's
adversity.
Just not fair. Hey to you as well, Sci-Fi Nation. Everybody in your chat. Oh no, he said Donnie. I got to get my eyes checked. Never mind, Sci-Fi Nation. But hi anyway. Alex Moore. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I guess I'm the resident Kevin Smith. Anyway, my hot take. I really liked the episode a lot. Watched it twice. It was a good. Star Trek's always had these courtroom type episodes. Every iteration of Star Trek has. And this one, God, man, like I'm getting little goosebumps thinking of super chat.
And Arabic, thank you for $5. Says here's the rest after my down payment. This episode was Trek to the core.
Agreed. I don't get why people are getting. Some people online, I've said they're hiding some kind of secret messaging and something about Trump stuff. I didn't see any of that. You know what I saw? I saw an allegory to slavery. That's what I saw. You know, I saw an allegory to segregation. You know,
I'll tell
that's
you
what
what,
I saw.
where people saw the
Women's
Trump thing,
rights, gay rights.
where people
That's what
saw
I
the,
saw.
where people saw the Trump thing was the simple fact that they charged her with sedition, which I will say is an inappropriate charge given the circumstances. They would
Well, that
not
was
have-
just the Vulcan being an asshole because she wouldn't take the
No,
plea
you
deal.
don't just
But we're-
charge someone because you're an a-hole. The Vulcans would make a logical
Sorry.
charge.
A-hole.
And so don't get me wrong, Vulcans are dicks. I've said that forever. Have
Yes,
I not?
Enterprise has established
That
that.
has been a theme
Oh,
on
no.
this channel for a long time. I think that the Vulcans in the so-called Prime Universe are absolute a-holes, and the Vulcans in the Mirror Universe are good. And the facts back me up on this. If you watch every episode of Trek that involves the Mirror Universe that has Vulcans in it, the Vulcans are good.
Yeah, oddly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Vulcans are always dicks.
Okay, so I just want to thank.
But sedition is an attempt through force or through speech to overthrow the government. She never made any kind of attempt to overthrow the government, and so to charge her with sedition is. I think that's where people think, oh, they're trying to throw a dig at Trump because they are rightfully charging some of the people that attacked the White House or the Capitol building with sedition because that was attempting to overthrow the government.
Okay, I still don't. It feels like a loose link to Trump, though. But anyway, Cinnabon Bunny. I still got to get Jason to teach me how to do that. But even if he does, I don't think Michael would be thrilled if I did that on the show. But I do want to say thank you. Cinnabon Bunny says, trying to read your thumbnail gave me a headache. # no white text. I will change that in the future. I promise. I used to use yellow and red. I don't know why I switched to white. Probably just being lazy. So thank you very much for that. And I apologize. I will do better.
But yeah.
Anyways, my hot take
Yeah.
is I liked it. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to actually have this might actually live up to the name of Nerdfights today, but I like the episode a lot.
Well, I'm going to be the crusty guy today. I don't know if it was just the mood was set today, and it wasn't necessarily because of this show, and maybe it affected me watching it, but yeah, you made the attempt at potential filler episode comment about the BSG yesterday. Well, as far as I'm concerned, this was not just a filler episode, but it was a throwaway.
Bullshit. They had to get Una back. You had to get Una back on the bridge. You had to get Una back on the ship.
I know, but as far as I'm concerned, this whole out of left field plotline thing, it was just.
Who was out of left field about, sir? If I may ask, what was out of left field about?
I don't know. I don't know. I just to use a fun term that Mike just loves. It did not resonate with me at all.
Okay. I look forward to talking about it.
It is my wallpaper being peeled off paint drying episode so far.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't
know. There's a lot of
Like
people that feel that way. Brian from the podcast feels the exact same way. So
yeah, I had a few minutes at lunch and I skimmed through Brian's, and then I was actually desperate for Bird's take, and now I've decided. There's my hot take. Every time Bird doesn't like it, I like it. Every time Bird likes it, I don't.
Did Bird like this episode?
He actually gave it a 7 out of 10.
Right on, Bird. We finally agree on something. That's weird.
All right. So I'll say this. 2 words. Rape gangs.
Tasha Yar, what about it?
Yeah, I mean that's all they did was they gave her the Tasha Yar backstory. I mean, her.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't rape games.
It was well, no, it was worse. They wanted to make it out that the Federation itself was oppressing the Elorians and causing all these problems.
But they were,
and they had these draconian. You know what? I'm sorry, but you know that this is some of the problems with the way these writers take these shows. And don't get me wrong, I'm mixed on this one. I think this one was very well made, very well acted, legally kind of a mess. If you know anything about law, that this was an absolute mess as far as the way like, first of all, charging worth sedition was stupidity.
Well, she made that.
What a funny moment for Bird to all of a sudden.
Yeah, Bird.
speak up.
Rape gangs. She calls in.
The lawyer even said she's lucky.
Hold on. She calls in 3 expert character witnesses. That is the stupidest line I've ever heard in my life. An expert witness is by definition a witness who is an expert in some particular technical field, so they can testify about that technical field. There's no such thing as an expert character witness. Nobody is an expert on your character. That's not, they're just throwing legal jargon out to throw out legal jargon. Her final, the solution at the end does nothing. Because at the end of the day,
look at what Anthony Mark says. That's the same thing I was saying to Jason.
No, yeah,
it was necessary.
I'm not saying the episode was unnecessary as far as they needed a trial episode to get Una out of prison. I get
within the bounds of what they've built in the series so far.
Right. But
this episode had to happen.
But to set it up that the Federation is this gigantic racist organization that's oppressing people and allowing and turning a blind eye to people being horribly abused and all that, I have a massive problem with. And by the way, Bird points this out in his 2-hour review of this, which is, Bird is always very good.
I don't get Eric's point there, but that's a funny comment.
Uh-huh.
Is that I don't get what Eric means by that, but it made me laugh. It made me laugh.
This strange one here.
Oh, there's no such thing as hooker. I can explain that one to you. Let's see. Where is?
Also, I know you don't pay attention to the chat.
Hold on, Danny. Hold on.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
There you
go. Yikes! I forgot all about that one.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's an old friend or just but a fella named James Carmichael says, "Hey, bro, long time." So I figure you might want to.
Hey, James, how you doing?
James, yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous the way they came out with it, and yeah. The final thing of her getting asylum is fine, but there's no way in heck they would let her continue to serve. There's absolutely no way. They might give her an honorable instead of a dishonorable separation since they don't.
Yeah, that's what Anthony Mark just said.
Yeah, but there is absolutely no way in heck that they would say, "Okay, you
hey Mercer,
and you made your point." And we're going to forgive you of all this, and you can go ahead and continue to serve illegally. That's not going to happen.
Like, look, I feel like this planted the seed. It may not be this season, maybe a future season, where they're going to change this whole.
They can't
prejudice. You can change the law. You can change the law
only if this is a complete reboot of Trek, because this law exists in the next generation.
We've already discussed this as a complete reboot, man. Like stop trying to fit it into canon.
But
that's why LDG calls this Strange New Canon. He doesn't even call it Strange New Worlds. He calls it Star Trek Strange New Canon.
I don't care what people call it. I'm talking about what the producers are saying.
Unfortunately, they're trying to claim everything ties together somehow in some insane.
Darren made a great point.
Gordian knot.
They did let Bashir. They did let Bashir stay in Starfleet, and they shouldn't have with him either.
Okay. And the only reason why they let him stay was his father had to go to prison. Well,
which is a thing, by the way. That is something that exists in the legal system.
Yeah.
Preston
so there was punishment.
Welcome to the party. Thanks for stopping.
And nobody was punished for the crime, and instead they just kind of waved away.
I said I said hi and thanked everybody. Did you ever take a second to go through and acknowledge your?
Well, you've been doing it, so you've been doing such a good job.
No, no, well, I've been doing it on mine. You want me to do it on yours too? I can.
Of course.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
you're the
47 Yorktown. Thanks for stopping by.
You're like of the team. You're like, I'm the store manager, and Jason's the floor manager, and you're the guy at the door saying, "Welcome to Walmart."
Welcome to Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
No wonder I'm facing homelessness. I also want to say hi to Stan Lee, Sci-Fi Nation, Bradley Briggs, Trustin. I like that name, Trustin. We've got Darren Wagner, Sci-Fi Nation, and the others. I think I already said.
And I don't know why you're talking
Cody
about
guy.
Barkley, Darren. Was Barkley wasn't genetically engineered? So
No, he was only temporary. It went back to normal after.
And the law specifically about permanent genetic engineering.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just saying, there are things about it that I really thought were well done. It was very well made. I did really like the character of this lawyer. She acted like a lawyer.
She did. I liked her. I liked her little closing argument.
Her closing argument was very, very strong. Her opening argument was very, very strong. Everything she said actually was, even her okay, thanks there. I didn't know. Even her cross-examination of Robert April, brilliant.
Dude, and I love how she brought it back around because everybody thought
because they didn't get it. They didn't let her continue with the questioning, but she was going to, basically let him say he was an honorable guy, but you can be an honorable guy and bend the rules, or be an honorable guy and look at what is the totality of the law, not just this one section of it. Yeah. And that's basically where her argument went, was that, hey, you're forgetting about this law while you're trying to enforce this other law.
I really liked how when she was giving her the closing argument, and as she was reading those 3 points, that other law, they did little mini flashback to Una's testimony
during the testimony,
showing how she fulfilled all of those things.
It automatically gets a point docked from me for invoking short tracks. Because that pissed me off.
I was going to ask you that. What the hell? Was that like real? Was that a dream sequence? Like we're spotting?
Did you not watch you never pay attention to the beginning of these videos. You never do.
First of all, I watched your trailer last night, which is the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's in the trailer where Spock and Una are singing.
Where's that clip from?
Yeah, that's from Short Tracks.
What the hell is Short Tracks?
Short Tracks it came out in between Discovery seasons, and after season 2 of Discovery, they did Short Tracks, and that was Spock's first day on the Enterprise, basically.
Okay, so was that a dream sequence? Why was he laughing?
That's canonically that happened.
Yeah.
Spock
was he drugged like in that one episode of TOS?
No.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, short treks are a artifact of Discovery.
Yeah. And so anything that evokes short treks to me, because the thing is that a lot of people would say, well, short treks doesn't really count. It's not really canon. It's just these silly little shorts that they did. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. And I kind of left that in the background and forgot about it.
How many of these short treks
canonizes that short trek?
How many of these short treks are there? Like, what
I think there's like 10
go to Paramount Plus.
like
look
that.
Up short treks.
I'm looking right now. I
think there's 2 seasons, right?
Well, am I better off for having not seen it? Because I'd have been pissed if I saw that.
Some of them are clever, but some of them are.
Because I'm actually working on an article right now defending Spock's emotions in the first episode based off of The Cage, and I'm giving examples. But if I'd have saw that before.
I will tell you, I like one of them, the Trouble with Edward, I think is absolutely hilarious and worth watching. However, it also ruins Tribbles forever.
Ultimately, there were 10, and most of them revolved around TOS/Discovery.
Yeah.
The only short track that didn't was the one called Children of Mars, which was like the precursor to
Picard season
1. Yeah.
So I don't need to watch this stuff.
No. Short tracks are not a must-watch by
I'm
any
good.
means.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
But like I said, it
poison
automatically
the well any
gets
further than
a
what you
point
did for
off.
me by putting in that scene. Why was he? I kind of bring it up. Like he was hysterically laughing. Like I don't like. Right? It just seemed
Yes,
like
I know. I've seen it. I know it's.
Well, this is my first
it
time ever
hurts.
seeing that clip, and it was like.
Now,
I
granted, that
thought it was a fever dream or something.
No. That was
Birdie
Spock at
must
his
watch.
absolute youngest, supposedly that we've ever seen him in canon, because that was his first day on the Enterprise. So that was before the events of the Cage or anything else.
Okay, so him saying, "Oh, well, that might make a little bit more sense." That was
Right.
before the Cage. Okay,
Right. And that's the thing. Like, and this is why I don't get upset about Spock's emotionalism in the Strange New Worlds era, because I get the fact that he's somewhat immature as a Vulcan, and he's got that human side that makes it difficult for him to keep his emotions under wraps. Because he doesn't have the mental discipline that most Vulcans do.
highlight that last comment from Tim, please.
It's the Star Trek dream. You must be asleep to believe it.
You got the greatest fans. And speaking of, we got 16 people over in Salty's channel, but only 10 likes. Don't forget to smash that like button for him. And I got 6 people watching, but I got 6 likes. So thank you guys.
Yeah. And so the and Anthony doesn't think
Mr. Trent's the short treks, the
Daniel
horror
probably would not have touched it. Now, I will say this. So we've looked at, there's been a lot of trials in Trek, right? We've had 2 in the original series, with Court Martial and the Menagerie.
Yeah.
And then we've had a few in next gen.
I can't even begin to tell you how many.
Measure of a Man and Drumhead are the biggies there.
Yeah, Measure of the Man is
TNG.
probably my favorite. Yeah, my favorite one, and that's what this kind of felt. It was all about like basic human rights. Like.
Well, the problem, and I think this is where
I'm talking about Measure of a Man, but like I feel like this was kind of pulling from that in a way, or getting inspired.
Here's my
by
problem with this episode. I think that the acting was better in this episode than any of those other episodes. To be honest, I think the direction was really good. I think that the lady who played the lawyer was just absolutely knocked it out of the park, and also. By the way, I loved having a Vulcan as the prosecutor. What was it? What was his title? Something general.
it was basically a jag. But the funny thing was, I liked the part where he like taps the chick. He's like, "You gonna say objection?"
Yeah. And then when he takes on the final cross examination and closing arguments, it was like as soon as he stands up, it's like, oh, the big guns are coming out. And so I liked a lot of things about it, but the writing was so ridiculously on the nose that she represents every contemporary discriminated group. It's not some abstract thing like sentient machines and AI. It's not some abstract.
This was an
thing.
allegory, just like I said in my hot.
No, it's not an allegory. It's just straight up.
It really is.
No, it absolutely is not.
No, allegory would mean that it was something that you personally have decided matches up with a thing. She straight up sheet listed everything.
Analogy, then? Is that the word I'm looking for?
No, not even. Not even. She just straight up sheet listed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and
which was actually, that was the part for me that sucked the oxygen right out of the room for me at that point.
So
Gorilla's random thoughts. Look at that. I mean, even though it's in all caps.
This would have been better as an episode of Law and Order. I mean, honestly. And so because it was just a contemporary trial show in the Star Trek universe with contemporary themes. And that was my problem with it. This they used a little bit of sci-fi lingo when they started talking about her race, but we know what her race was just her race.
So what's the difference between saying that, hey, Illyrian, you can't join Starfleet versus, hey, because you're black, you can't join Starfleet? What's the difference?
One is immutable. So one can be decided to not be, and the other one can't.
No, that's not true. Una didn't decide. They do this in utero. They made that very clear. The decision's not made by the person. It's made by the person's parents.
Sure, but the decision wasn't singularly against Una. The trial was clearly set up to be a trial of Allurians versus
ethics on trial.
Yes, yeah. This wasn't simply, but this simply wasn't a court case that was aimed at Una. This was a court case that was aimed at
all Allurians.
Yeah, it was all Allurians that were the defendant, and Starfleet was trying to claim, that they should never be trusted because of this one bad thing that happened because of the
right.
Professor Brainy Specs with the
I'm having
backhanded compliment there.
It was the best Strange New Worlds, but it was still not good. Well,
and I'm not sure I know you, but welcome. Thank you. We appreciate and acknowledge your presence.
Episode.
But I don't agree with your stupid take, but thank you.
So the problem is that Allurians could choose, or Illurians. I hate the fact that they decided to call them something that's too damn close to the name of Guinan's people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Valerians,
one's Elorians, one's Illyrians, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the English language. So as a cultural choice,
played by Romaine.
Gorilla, I'm not trying to. You got to pay attention to the chat, Mike. You're going to alienate your fans.
I'm not ignoring anybody.
I hate seeing hashtag ignored. I see it more in your chat.
Yeah, they do it all the time because they know it annoys me.
Well, stop ignoring them. Acknowledge them.
When they do that, that's when I start ignoring them.
Oh.
Where'd you go? Don't be running away.
So,
do you want to hear me blow my nose? Give me a second, Jesus.
But you can still hear me fine, eh?
No, he was getting mad at me because every time
I just wasn't sure if I should keep going because I know when I blow.
I was listening. I was just blowing my nose.
When I blow my nose, I tend to not hear anybody that's talking.
Fine. Well, when you blow your nose, you turn your camera off and you leave,
and then forget to turn my mic off. Yeah, I know that was great last week. I know it was genius.
Yeah. Anyway.
This
episode was stupid on the nose. It really was. It was well done, but it was so on the nose. It was just crazy annoying to me because this was not sci-fi.
So nobody ever thought to say, "Hey, Superman, you don't think that's a little bit on the nose?" It's from The Flash. You guys haven't seen The Flash yet?
Yes, I've seen The Flash, but this is not. We're not talking about The Flash right now.
And according to the box office, you guys are the only people that saw it.
Yeah, I think me and Danny are the only two people that have seen it.
Certainly the only two that liked it, I guess. I don't know. Well, no, Brian liked it. So
yeah.
But I said, I think
Cinnabon Bunny not pulling any punches.
Cinnabon's just upset because Asian Kyle's hasn't been in this season. That's the only reason.
Tim, LDG. I thank you guys. I don't know what that means that you subscribe to me. I guess that means you subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Oh wow, yeah. I only need 4 more subscribers to hit 300. Woohoo! Very cool. Sorry. Anyway.
And Bradley doesn't want us talking about the Flash movie. So.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Yeah. You're offending the audience.
Hang on. I'm sorry. I just like Michael Keaton, and you said on the nose. I just was quoting that line because I thought that.
But on the nose actually has a meaning, right?
Yeah,
it's a writing term, and this episode is a textbook example. Because the problem is that sci-fi is great for allegory, but there's no allegory here.
See, I guess I'm just stupid because I thought it was allegory, but you're like, no, it was just on the nose. That's what you're saying. So I'm like, okay, well,
A great TNG episode that speaks to allegory is the episode when Riker fell in love with the androgynous lady. I think it's like a season 3 or season 4 episode.
By definition, It's not a lady, an androgynous person.
No, but the way they spun that episode was much more allegorical than what we see in this one. This was just straight up Starfleet sucks. Federation sucks.
No, I didn't see it that way, because especially the way Una.
Really, you didn't see that the Starfleet and Federation suck in this? Because did you not watch the episode?
Yes.
It's on the nosy allegory.
Because the whole point was that Starfleet sucks. And that's one of the reasons I think that's probably one of the reasons I didn't like this episode, is because Starfleet and Federation.
You're just wrong.
How am I just wrong?
Look at Una's testimony. Are we gonna do the thing we normally do, or did you not want to do that?
Yeah, we should get rolling through the timeline here. And
all right, fine. That's gonna be a jerk.
Tim Christ quoting Spaceballs, one of Michael's favorite movies. Sir, Starfleet went from suck to blow.
So the movie opens with Captain Pike wearing a CPAP walking down the street.
No, Norman, I know, man. I was just being a smartass about that.
And yes, I stole that from Bird of Prey 5
culture thing.
No, he's carrying a portable CPAP machine.
If you give him credit, it's not stealing. So there you go.
Well, I did it.
Aravik, exactly. The point is that Starfleet isn't perfect, but it can be, and that's what Una says at the trial. You throw that up there for me.
No. You see, that's the problem. There's a difference between throwing up a mirror at society, like Battlestar Galactica does, and a morality play, which is what Star Trek generally is. And with a morality play, you don't put up things and say, oh, well, the heroic thing is flawed and it could be better, but boy, they're trying. That's not, no. Heroes are supposed to be freaking heroes.
And then also
villains are supposed to be villains. Yeah. You don't need to make the Federation corrupt in order to make it interesting. And you certainly don't need to make the Federation.
They weren't making it corrupt. Let me ask you something. At one point in time in this country, was not slavery legal?
This is not about
yes or no. Hold up. Yes or no. Let me ask you 3 questions. Yes or no? Was slavery legal in the United States?
Obviously, yes.
Yes. Okay. Was segregation legal? Yes or no in the United States? Just
no, counselor. What is
the goddamn question?
No. Get to your point, counselor. I know. Understand your line of question and get to your damn point.
My point is, slavery is no longer legal. Segregation is no longer legal. Women can now vote. Black people can vote.
What's that got to do all of this stuff?
Because
that has nothing to do with this.
Yes, it does. But before we get into that argument, you have Super Chat.
An SVS guru with €5. Thank you so much. Saying being on the nose isn't necessarily bad. Measure of a Man was pretty on the nose too. They literally name drop slavery. Well, I will say this about Measure of a Man though, is that it was not as much on the nose because they were dealing with android rights as opposed to human rights, and that adds
the very word human itself is racist. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You want to open this can? No, first of all,
what are you trying to quote Star Trek 6 now? Come on.
Yes, Anthony Mark. I also agree with Jason. I was being a smarmy smartass when I said that.
You always being a smarmy
because it's the woke era.
See, we're never going to get through this episode.
They, them, it. I know. Hey, Darren asked me to do this in the beginning, and I am just trying to work hard for your super chats. Okay,
Darren's not going to super chat me.
I'm trying to give the people what they want.
So
Cinnabon Bunny, I kind of agree with that.
I agree with you there. Is that so La'an is so awesome. She's awesome sauce.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of dumb.
Hey, Alex, we've done 4 hours before, man. Don't jinx it. If you don't want it to go 4 hours, don't say
I won't make it 4 hours.
Yeah. So, but the point here is that yes, bad things have existed in U.S. history.
My point. So my point with that is that it took people having to make huge sacrifices and go through terrible hardships to change those laws, to make these changes.
The Federation isn't racist.
I didn't say it was racist.
Well, no, now it is. It is. According to this episode, it absolutely 100% is.
Didn't you just say that unless they break canon, they're still racist against Illyrians?
No, well, the problem is that we've never had a case. No, here's the difference between in the past. What they've done is they've had things like Bashir and stuff like that. Individuals who have been genetically modified and weird things that have come up. This now has a specific race of people outlawed.
Well,
and that
the
is
specific
now
race. No, it's
Star
not. No,
Trek.
the specific race of people fall under a category. It's not. In fact, Una during her testimony even specified that not all of them are modified.
Right,
if they're
forced to change their culture in order to be allowed to be in the Federation. That'd be like telling Indians they can't live in teepees in order to be United States citizens.
What are you talking about, Tim? We've been talking about the episode the whole time. We just haven't started.
Okay, this is not okay. This is exactly. I mean, like this. The problem is like the defense attorney. I can't remember her name. I apologize, but
I need to look it up because she was good.
She was 100% right when she talked about the fact that the Federation's race laws were draconian.
Yes. And
well,
I bet you they changed it.
The Federation is racist. That's what she straight up said. The Federation is racist. You agreed, but then 2 seconds ago you said the Federation is not racist. Make up your mind.
No, you're saying that the Federation.
Hey, we're getting our titles worth today.
I think this. I was actually going to look her name up, but I can't do two things.
Nerdfights.
I can't do two things at once.
Nira, thank you, Bird.
What? Nira, thank you.
Nira character.
Nira, yes, she was great. I think again, this is a prequel. If you fuck canon or frat canon, but they're still trying to claim this is like a prequel to whatever. I think there's going to be a future episode where the laws are changed. You know, I think this planted a seed. I don't think
we're ever going to hear about this again.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. What do you think, Jason?
At this point, my thought goes like this: from a universe building perspective, at this point, it's a catastrophically bad choice to have created the Ilorians and to have Noonien Singh as Noonien Singh. Yeah. I like La'an's character in general, but I think at this point they've gone into an area of storytelling that is going to conflict with all kinds of things throughout the shows. And again, until they decide that they're going to come straight out and say, yeah, we're ignoring everything else. Unfortunately, somehow or another, in some crazy Gordian knot fashion, this stuff is all still connected. And not with some interesting, if not, contrived and not in a bad way, triple timeline thing, because everyone's trying to break their brains trying to figure out how to make this thing work. These people just consider this all one big timeline, all one big mess. And yeah, there's too many issues that they're starting to create at this point, and it's just
not only that
taking me out.
No, I feel you. Not only that, but to your point that you made earlier, Mercer, I wish I could. Come on, you got to give me the limited powers back to tap on this stuff. No, Guinan's people are Elorians. These are
with an E. These are I.
Illyrians.
Illyrians.
Yeah.
Illyrians.
It's very
Illyrians
similar
versus Elorian. I know it's super frustrating.
Yeah,
but yeah, the La'an thing it drives me crazy because if they're going to ban an entire race of people because of genetic modifications, then there is no way that a direct descendant of Khan Noonien Singh should be allowed to serve in Starfleet.
Yeah, everybody that's a blood relative descendant should be utterly banned and just full stop. Because, and here's the reason why this is so important.
In court
well, let's go to the conversation that was in the private quarters with Nira.
Yeah.
Nira asked her about whether or not she was afraid. I know this episode is just going to be a bonfire. when they're in the quarters and they're talking, Nira confronts her about her fear about whether or not her genetic benefits from her great however many grandfathers back, whatever, will or will not affect her performance, attitude, dangerousness, non-dangerousness. Like, so that right there within the storyline establishes that she's absolutely enhanced. Like, it's no longer one of those
enhanced from the first.
It was unspokenly telegraphed to us. Now it's an absolute fact. And this is where like it's just going to rip, like it's just ripping the continuity in a way that makes it hard to.
Right. This is
well,
a
okay.
little more
Okay.
than
This is
sweet
and this is
Thomas,
me
that's
who's
a
been
good
getting
question.
pretty safe on, or trying to be pretty respectful to, you know. Yeah.
And Thomas,
According to Starfleet's
I am totally not. Yeah.
Yeah. If we want to be straight up about it, this whole thing about genetic modification, I would not be part of the Federation if they had this rule. I just wouldn't. I would move to Orion, or I don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
I really liked
the Federation is borderline evil after this.
Oh, whatever. Okay, push or not play, but let's move it along. Let's move it along.
Jump.
Well, I like the way you just hand wave it off like it's just no big deal.
Well, no, because we're going to talk about it again when we get to the scene. So
yes,
the
Federation. Yeah. I mean, it really, really bothers me that the Federation is now racist.
Hey, Daniel's Hot Topics. I had to send you the link to join us so you can derail us even more.
All right, so he goes to the office of.
Oh, I love this part.
The person again that Bird told me what the name was, and now I forgot. And
Nira,
thank you. So and the secretary is like, sorry, she can't see you. He's like, okay, I'll wait. And he's got like no oxygen left, and she's like, no, you can't really wait. And there's nope, try me. And he's sitting there literally going to die in her office if she doesn't see him. So very, very, I mean, Pike is got the swagger of like he's got, you know, Captain Kirk size balls. He really does. So I got to hand it to Pike for being willing to die for his first officer just to get her a good lawyer.
Well, is it just me, or did his hair like, you know, like, does his hair need some Viagra? It just seems like smaller.
I think they let him. I think he got it cut in time for filming, and it's going to just get more bouffant as the season goes on.
Yeah, it might be, or you know, they might have said, you know what, the hair is just so much, man. You know, everybody's like gravitate. The hair had its own gravitational field, and you know, the chicks were falling in love with the hair, and you know, there's just a big problem.
That's a good question, Cinnabon. What do you think, you two? It's so. Pull up the thing. There you go. What do you think about that?
So toxic he can't breathe, but has no problem with his eyes being exposed to the atmosphere. Seems suspicious. Well, there are gases that would kill you if you breathe that don't irritate your skin or eyes.
Okay,
correct.
The more you know.
Right. So,
however, it's kind of comical that a planet with buildings, Ilorians on it principally or not, doesn't come with, you know,
standard life support everywhere.
You know, M-class mode, because, you know, visitors from other planets might come hang out. Because otherwise, guess what? Ilorians. Okay, so if we want to really mess with stuff, and see, this is where sloppy writing on the broader scale starts to be a problem when we start looking at episodes that are frustrating like this. Ilorians are xenophobes.
Yeah, you know what?
We want to go down a road.
It cuts both ways. It
does. No, because I was about to answer your question. The reason they don't have an M-class mode is because they're like, F you. We had to make our own place because you guys are so anti us, and you want me to cater to you.
But you're only thinking
oxygen packs.
You're only thinking about this in consideration of the Federation. You're ignoring the Cardassians and the Romulans and the Klingons and the Orions and everybody else who lives on Class M planets. These people are straight up 100% xenophobes.
Super chat.
And SVS Guru with another 5 years says the Federation and Starfleet were never the wholly good heroes. Our heroes were the heroes who often had to undo the mistakes of their parent organizations. Now, there is some truth to that. I will grant you that. However, there is never the idea that the Federation or Starfleet was evil. And in fact, how many times did both Kirk, the two main guys in Star, and I'm sorry to all you DS9 and Voyager fans, but the two main guys in Star Trek are Kirk and Picard. All right. And
well, pretty soon it's going to be Kirk and Pike.
Yeah, I agree. But as far as classic Trek is concerned, it's Kirk and Picard all the way.
Yeah.
And how many times did both of those guys give speeches to people about come to the Federation where everyone's welcome, come to the Federation where we've gone beyond these problems, these petty squabbles between people. And that was the whole point of Star Trek in the first place, is the Federation was what humanity could become if we got past our petty differences that we have. But now we find out, but the Federation's also blatantly racist.
Only against augments. Hey, Daniel said this twice.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes it okay.
Throw it up on there for him.
The big comment?
He's done it twice. This is yes. Yeah.
Okay, so here's a giant problem with this, and I read this.
Well, we'll let Michael read it
that.
because it's only fair. And then,
Yeah.
in fact, swap me with Jason because I don't want to get into this argument. I'd love to sit back, eat popcorn, and watch you two talk about this with Daniel.
So why is the Federation evil? Because they got rid of spirituality and religion. I would say they evolved to the point where they don't need it. They have an advanced science from other races, after all.
Okay, first off, I've never made that declaration ever, and I've never heard Mike make that declaration ever. However, I have a criticism of the writers, and far be it for me to be as crusty as I am, and hopefully I don't go off the reservation too far. But
yeah, he might say a dirty word.
Oh no, I might say something that doesn't even require dirty words that might agitate somebody, and it might even make.
I can't imagine you agitating anybody.
Here's the secret: say it, but say it with a smile.
All right, let's smile while we talk. If everyone who's an atheist, or at least hyper agnostic, that writes all these shows doesn't care about religion, why do all the other species that aren't humans have one?
I'm waiting. Anybody? Bueller?
Because they like to have, they try to make simple people have beliefs.
Well, at the very
the
least,
is superior.
It's yet another form of attack.
Right.
And this is where it's cheap and it's stupid and it's equally inconsistent. And it happens in real life. Right today, on a regular basis, where people of we'll drum it down to the simple statement of people of Abrahamic faiths are vociferously attacked in all forms of media, or at the very least, mocked incessantly.
Smile.
And on top of it all, yet when every other unga bunga thing that goes on is going on, it's beautiful and it has to be embraced and everybody has to talk about it and everybody has to know it and understand it.
Yeah, just not religion.
But the two are both, but they're all religions.
Right.
Like the inconsistency is insane. And this,
Jason, give me a chance to answer the question.
Sorry. I told you, crusty mode today.
No. I love it. I'm just sitting back eating my.
But I want to say this in addressing Daniel's point specifically. First of all, they didn't get rid of spirituality and religion. In the original series, there's religion all over the place. And in
What's
fact,
up, LDG? I see you swapped.
The Bible is referred to as historical. God is referred to as factual, and Christ is referred to as factual in the original series. So there's absolutely
Isn't Pike a Catholic? Didn't they say that in Discovery season 2?
In Discovery season 2, he only said he was raised that way.
Okay.
They didn't get into it.
See, that's how I do the same thing. People, are you Christian? I was raised Lutheran.
Right, but
yeah, it's like telephone game transformation of what was said. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think that Pike, they should have. I mean, because honestly, I think they're afraid. And honestly, like you were talking about with the atheist and hyper agnostic writers that you have in Hollywood, they wouldn't know how to write a Christian character if you paid them $1 million.
And if they did, they would villainize it somehow.
Well, that's what I say. They don't like. When was the last time you saw, outside of a religious film, when do you ever see a Christian character who's anything but a child molester, a psychopath, or just some crazy hyper evangelical nut?
I'm sorry. I love that comment. I gotta put that up.
That's absolutely true.
That's totally true.
At least it was true at the time of the Cage. Remember, this is about 7 years later.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago, he was a Catholic dreaming about Orion slave girls. Now that he knows his fate, maybe not so much. But
oh God, they don't do that to me. This can't be canon. This Pike, I like him too much. He can't end up burnt up, crispy in a wheelchair.
I still like the idea of the whole triple timeline thing. And think about this. Even if it is the canonical, this is the prime timeline canonical Pike, and in 7 years' time he ends up in that accident. Oh, and God tipped $3.33. Thank you, the Lord God. That was.
What does God need with a starship?
Well, how does God super chat? Says, I keep hearing, why would God need a starship? Answer, because they are cool.
Right? God, so think about it.
Straight from God.
I got these Eagle Moss ships over here.
Mm-hmm.
A starship would probably fit on one of God's shelves like that. So why not have one? They're cool. Yeah, they're cool.
So, but and so I don't think I'm not.
Oh,
I don't
damn,
think
Tim. Too soon. Even had a little barbecue sauce coming.
No. So even if this is if this Pike ends up in the accident on the training ship and ends up in the chair, remember he'll then end up on Talos 4, where they could continue with Anson Mount doing stuff on Talos 4. Because
that's not real. I mean, he's still. Don't you remember? But it's not real. Don't you remember, like the girl he fell in love with? She's actually old and haggard and
think about this.
up.
After the menagerie, we have no idea what happened. Right? That's where you could break new ground as far as canonically. And so once you get past the menagerie, let's say he's working with the Telosians and also with Starfleet to do something, to do some super secret project or whatever. There's nothing to stop him from doing that. But what I have a problem with, Daniel, is actually the way you phrase the question, because just because you have advanced science doesn't mean you don't need God.
First of all, great example of this, that episode of BSG. I think we just reviewed it yesterday, or not yesterday. Was it yesterday? We reviewed where
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah. Where Gaius is like. I've made this joke before, but I shouldn't make it too much because, as we joke a lot on Battlestar, Gaius and I have way too much in common. I too have started turning to God at the lowest point of my life, which is almost blasphemy. But I think that just happens. Like, Gaius kind of said the same way, was kind of echoing Daniel's, thoughts. But then when like the fit hit the shan and he thought he was going to get jettisoned out of airlock, what did he do? He got down on his knees and prayed. You know what I mean? And then it worked.
Because
and then it worked.
It did work. And the thing is, a lot of people, when it's true that people tend to turn to God when they get more desperate. But at the same time, it doesn't mean they don't need God. They just don't realize they need God when they
sometimes it takes something catastrophic to happen, as I'm kind of starting to learn.
Right.
Before you start to realize, you know what? Maybe if I'd had God in my life the whole time, I would have never got here.
Right.
You know,
and also when bad things do happen, you have a different perspective on it.
maybe if I didn't
Handle
eat
those
12
things.
dozen donuts a day for 15 years, I wouldn't have got 400 pounds and had a heart attack and
Yeah.
had to lose weight. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of
12
thing.
dozen
you know.
donuts a day?
No, I was exaggerating. Of course, not 12 dozen donuts. You know, probably like 2
Only
dozen.
11.
Like 2. No, like 24 donuts. I used to.
I love
eat a
donuts,
donut.
but damn,
I can eat it. Like, well, man. Anyway, to the side.
that's a lot.
I
of
haven't had a
donuts.
donut in so many years. Like I had my surgery in 2017. I haven't had a donut. I suck at math. What is that? 5 years? 6 years? 23. Yeah.
Well, I
6
had
years.
all the evil donuts for you when I was down south a few
Well,
weeks
I
ago.
will not take you to Donut Country then if you ever come to Tennessee. Donut Country. Oh, no, Stan, forget about Krispy Kreme. Donut Country is so much better than Krispy Kreme. Donut Country, but it's not a franchise. There's only one.
There's a Krispy Kreme here in Vegas. That's where I used to go.
Well, Mike knows what donut place I had access to in Orlando, so because you remember what's there as well as on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Voodoo,
the evil voodoo donuts. Yes. Owned by an actual voodoo priest.
Yummy.
But I will tell you, man, and next time you guys come through town, assuming you're not puking on me,
we'll try
take
not
you
to
to
do
Donut
that.
Country.
Yes, I like
Donut Country and Spooky's Pizza.
I'm afraid I could probably have one bite, but if I ate a whole donut, I would be throwing up, which sucks.
Well, that's because you got that band on your tummy.
I don't have a band. I got the sleeve. There's a difference.
Well, I don't know. I'm just
the sleeve. What that means is they remove all but 4 ounces of the stomach. Now, I might have stretched it out in the last few years to maybe 6 ounces, but still, anytime you eat, the reason I can't have bread or donuts or pastries or anything like that.
Because it's like insta-full.
It spreads.
Because it's like that episode of The Family Guy when Peter ate all the was it the MREs or whatever it was he ate, and then he just went boom.
Yeah.
I have to poop.
That was a good Peter.
Yeah. All right.
That's a good question. Do they cast spells when you eat the donuts from Voodoo? Like if you piss them off,
I would suggest that they definitely cast a spell to make us keep going back.
Their donuts are innovative, and they do have some very interesting donuts. Some of which are
only available on the West Coast.
Yeah, they have some very vulgar donuts
that are only available not at family-friendly amusement parks.
Yes, yeah. The West Coast Voodoo Donuts in Portland, Oregon, has man. They don't mess around.
No, they do not.
So that's where you can get their world famous, and I'm only saying this because it's the name of the donut on the menu board, the cock and balls.
Okay, this isn't fair. There's only 6 of these, and where did it go? Stupid website.
Are you looking at Voodoo Donuts?
Yeah, no. So they have one in Arizona. Oh no, they don't. The one in Arizona is coming soon. They have 1, 2.
Well, keep in mind, up until very recently,
3,
there was
4.
just
They
one in Portland.
They have 4 in Oregon and 2 in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
What the hell? With another one coming soon.
No,
they have 5 in Colorado. Sorry.
Yeah. They
one in
started
Austin.
in Portland, Oregon. That's why.
Yeah, that was their home base.
2 in Houston. I used to live in Houston. 1 in Katy. Another one in Austin. 1 in San Antonio.
I'm honestly shocked there isn't one on the Strip.
I am too, because I was expecting to see that, and I was going to go there and,
Yeah, but
kill
it's
myself.
probably. I'm sure that the price of renting or leasing a place on the Strip is stupid.
Oh, it's obscene. Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't want a business on the Strip.
I like that comment from. Come on, roll into the things. I can put it up. Where is it? Come on. Where did it go? Where did Cinnabon's comment go? Why didn't it show up in the main feed?
With the Pike doesn't need God for miraculous survival.
Yeah, no. Pike doesn't need God for miraculous survival. Only a blast door with a window. Nice callback to season 2 Discovery. Why did that not show up in here?
No,
that's weird.
I don't know how we got on this donut talk, but let's get to the
Yeah.
office.
Yeah, let's get out of the office here.
So he's got a CPAP. He's calling her bluff on it, and as he So finally, he gets a meeting with Neva, the badass attorney at law.
Nira. Sorry.
She's just a badass. All right. So badass attorney.
Yeah.
And
I did find myself liking this character a lot. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, she is an absolute bitch of a person, but yeah, she's a great character.
Hey, it's 4:20 on the West Coast. That means somebody needs to do a 4:20
What do you set an alarm for that or something? You never miss it. So I mean,
I'm just trying to help shill your super chats since he's going to be like that.
Or I thought you were just
what? Yeah, never a more appropriate time for West Coast watchers, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
so
man. let me like empty hand before you get mad at me. So I'm not really.
So she doesn't want to take the case, but it sounds like she doesn't want to take the case because she was personally offended by Una.
Something happened there.
Yeah,
and I don't know what. There's that uncomfortably long hand holding in the transporter room at the very end. Were they lovers?
Yeah, which if they
or just
do that,
very close friends.
I'm just gonna roll my eyes even harder.
Yeah. Right, because it's like, okay, so they're gonna make them get
because apparently everybody's gay.
Yeah. So Tim Christ, I think you'll think this is funny. At first, when I saw your comment, I thought it was just Tim. Christ, this train has no rails, but it was Tim Christ. This train has no rails. So,
yeah. Just so you know, his name is actually Tim Christ.
Okay,
that is that.
It's spelled Christ, but whatever.
Yes, but it's pronounced Christ.
Okay. Hey, it's the once and future father.
It's Joseph. Yes, Joseph.
Yes, it is. Yes.
They should have built the Titan submarine out of
Plastorium. Yeah, I know it's kind of a grim joke, but yeah, definitely applies. Yes, if Darren is still in there, they absolutely should have hired you at a minimum. You would have at least told those people they were idiots to get a sardine can. Yeah, well, as a side note, the absolute hilarity with that whole situation, for those that haven't really kept up on it, the CEO literally said he had no interest in hiring an old white guy that was 50 years old that used to be a submariner, because that's not inspirational to young people.
What?
And that's on video. So people like Darren and people like the guy who runs the Subbrief channel on YouTube, who are, lifelong submariners. No, that's not useful to have you as part of the team. Why would I ever do that?
So what do they get? Some kid out of high school to pilot their submarine down to the Titanic?
It was college graduates and like master's degrees or students that were designing and building this thing. It was never validated with any
not people
actual...
who actually spent time underwater and understand how these things work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah, it was really sucky when I saw that a couple days ago.
And obviously they didn't have any proper emergency ballast or anything to get them to the surface. So
no, yeah, everything that a submariner that would like to go home every 3 months would absolutely be going, where's this, where's that? Yeah, why No,
it is a tragic story, but and it is unfortunately a preventable one.
It was 100% preventable, if not 99.99s.
I thought, I don't remember. Was it a PlayStation controller?
It was a Logitech wireless controller.
Yeah.
And where it is
I'll
that...
say this. I know people make fun of the controller. That's honestly, as long as the systems it's connected to are good, I don't care.
No,
I controller is not necessarily a bad thing.
Frack are you talking about, guys? Like we're like,
they literally were controlling that submarine that got lost with a wireless Logitech controller.
Okay.
You know about
got to do with Star Trek? What was got to do? What?
Oh no, we can blame this one.
It was
Joseph took us on a track that less traveled. So
it's all about cost-cutting measures. CEO openly complained about safety regulations being openly burdensome. Yeah, well, I guess those safety regulations could have, helped if they had more safety in place.
Right. So, guys, thank you. Now I'm only 3 away from 300. If I hit 300, I'm going to do a 300 celebration stream like tomorrow, just for shits and giggles.
Oh, and also, just for the record, I talked to the guy that made the chocolate bar that Danny ate last week and was bragging about how it wasn't that bad. And he realized he sent.
You showed him the video, right? Did you show
I sent him the link to the video because no human being should be able to do what you did. No joke, dude. That is
so.
What you did was not humanly possible.
What was his explanation?
Yeah. Oh, he said, and he's done this a couple of times before. He sent him the habanero bar, not the Satan's pleasure bar.
Oh,
allegedly. I'm waiting for this. So go ahead.
So he's going to make because he makes these things individually to order and stuff. So he must have gotten my order mixed up with someone else, which means some guy that ordered the habanero bar is dying right now.
Now I'm only 2 away. Whoever just did that, thank you. You guys rock. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, you know what? Whenever he sends me that other bar, I'll eat it live. And I want to feel, man. Okay, I want to feel something.
Oh, you will feel.
I want to feel. That's why
you
I was
will
like, LDG. I don't know if you're still here. I once I get moved and settled in, I do have a surgery coming up. Hopefully, we can do this before the surgery because if it's after, it's going to kick that can down the road at least 2 or 3 months. But I'm really I know you gave me the link, bro, but I'm poor. And I thought you said, anyway, we'll talk later. But he did that wheel thing that we were talking about and the gummy.
Yeah, the wheel of sauces.
Oh my God, I got to do that. I got to try that because I need to feel something in my life because I just.
I got something else I'm going to be sending to you in the not too distant future. So long story short, Pike gets her to take the case by handing her an isolinear chip. Or one of those.
Look at the detail. I love how you see the little.
So
the
this is
on the top
this
right
is
corner
their version of what those little cards that Kirk would hold look like.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I liked it.
Yeah. And so I think because the size, the shape is all right, but they just show more detail.
LD's saying you will feel.
You will feel. You will feel it coming and going.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
He says, "Don't let Salty give you that 3-year-old gummy he has."
I ate that gummy
by now.
Did you not see that? Jeez. And so now Professor says time to unsubscribe now that he's subscribed to your
Thank
channel.
you, Professor What? Why, dude? Don't be no. Are you talking about unsubscribing from Salty? I mean, okay. Well,
he's probably going to unsubscribe from me now that he's subscribed to you because
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
I love this shot. This is a nicely, just a very nice shot.
It's not bright enough. It's too dark. What are you talking about? It's too dark. Can't see. It's too dark.
Actually, I love
Lighting
the fact
sucks.
that it was dark because it's
I'm just
a
kidding.
dire situation.
Yeah, but you see, they're using the lighting as a part of the storytelling.
No, yeah, I agree.
As opposed to just turning the lights off so that and letting the cameras roll for some reason.
Yeah.
I do also, it's a nice shot of the Golden Gate Bridge. And by the way, I don't know about you guys, but I squinted and I did not see the solar panels on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if that's actually. Well, I know they could do anything they wanted.
They should be there technically because they were there on Discovery, and they were there for Picard. But I didn't see the solar panels. Not that I'm complaining. I was just
they could not be there. Yes,
Stanley. I know.
What's that? What's he saying?
He says
Salty's decimal is bigger than your channel.
Yeah, I know.
The
12.6. I'm almost at 300.
First of all, let me tell you, subscriber count honestly doesn't mean all that much.
Well, actually, on a side note,
I gotta get to 1,000 first.
Oh yeah, there's certain thresholds as far as dealing with YouTube.
Subscriber count is if you want to monetize. But as far as the view, for example, that video that I did recently, the redo of the triple timeline.
Yeah.
The first 700 views, actual subscribers accounted for about 100 of them. So, it's not really about how many subscribers you get.
Yeah, some of the biggest channels out there still talk about the fact that only 10 to 20% of the people that watch their videos are actually subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Oh, and so now it's 500 subs according to Cinnabon and Yosef. So I guess they lowered the threshold. That word. I hate that word.
Oh, well, if that's true, then come on, guys. Let's push it. Let's keep going. Once I get to 300, my next milestone will be 5.
Channel hour here.
Sorry. Hey, at least I'm not doing the QVC thing again like I did yesterday.
Are you just trying to drive everybody? Our audience has gone down by 2 since you started doing this, right?
What are you talking about? You got 23 people
30
watching.
minutes ago. Now it's
we got 19 likes. Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I think they're leaving because we're not talking about the damn show. Let's get back to
I think they're leaving, yeah, because you keep talking about your crap. So stop. I've been trying to talk about the show.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about the show.
All right. So so the two of them start, and notice you can see when they get into the shots, you can actually see their faces. There's more light in this shot than any shot in Picard season 10.
season any, except for the ones that are outside.
Yeah.
Oh, see, LD makes a good point. He says you didn't lose people; they just went over to my channel.
Will you stop?
Still watching the same. Hey, I'm just trying to interact with the chat.
The actual viewer count of this live stream has gone down.
Okay.
Yeah, because the eyeball in the corner is
it shows the total number of people on both channels.
I guess I don't get to see that eyeball in the
corner.
And
it's still going down. So shut up. It went down to 27 now.
For boring people.
Yeah.
I need to go back to crusty mode or something.
Yes. Look at that face.
All right. So basically they talk a little bit about what's going on and whether or not she should take the case. There's only 2 shots of the Enterprise in this whole episode. Which sucks because I love the Enterprise, but this is one of them.
I always like looking at the Enterprise, but I wish I like the sleeker. This has got all that texture going on. I guess
I do think
like
they overdid it a little with the texturing.
Yeah.
I like the gunmetal look of the surface, but I do think they they tried to replicate digitally what they did with TMP as far as the hull plating, and I think they should have just stuck with a solid gunmetal look.
Or made the differences between a little less noticeable from every single angle.
Yeah.
However, I do really like this ship. I don't care what
we get to see the rear shot here, and then later we see
I really like the other shot where you're looking at it from below. I think that is we've never seen it from that angle, and I think that is a beautiful shot. So then we get this scene actually had a little bit of tension. So Pike's ex comes in and is like, she turned down the deal, and Pike's like, good.
Do you know how hard it was for me to get that deal?
Yeah. And you think about it, if she really has put in as much effort as it sounds like she has because she cares about Una and Pike, I can understand her frustration. But and Pike is very overconfident here. I don't think he realizes what he's up against.
Oh, he thought he brought in an absolute ringer. That's what he thought.
And so he figured, this is going to be fine. And this is the one time, you almost never see Pike lose his cool, but for a split second, he lost his cool. Did you notice that in this scene?
When he throws the
this
carrot.
Is where she's like, why did you do that? And he goes, because she should be on the bridge of my ship and not in jail. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, whoa, simmer down.
I actually like that.
And then he went right back to cool, smooth Pike.
Yeah.
Because he never loses it. That's one thing that I like about this character. He is the guy who's always in control. But
kind of like at the end when he gave her
the hug,
the big hug, and then he's like, does that.
Yeah.
Pats her
Yeah, because
shoulder.
he's very warm and friendly, but he's not like, oh, I'm going to run up and give you a hug.
Yeah.
So then we have the initial reading of the charges. And, one thing that really annoyed... Okay, so this is one of the most unrealistic scenes.
No, this isn't where they read the charges. This is where...
yeah, because this is where they up the charges. This is the scene where they up the charges.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah. In a second, because the Vulcan's going to come in.
The Vulcan Advocate General or whatever it is. And this scene really, really pisses me off. Because
you realize you just called him a Vag, right?
Huh?
A Vulcan Advocate General, Vag, VAG.
Yeah, well, I guess that's his job.
All right. That joke landed flat. Anyway.
So, it makes sense since he's the only male in the room. So, but anyway, the reason this scene feels so unrealistic to me is that you have the judge in front of them, and she says, "Oh, we'll get started as soon as the prosecution arrives." And when the prosecution does arrive, what she does not do is berate the prosecution for being late.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, this is the problem where, okay, so Mike, you love to get testy about things when they try to pretend. Vag made me laugh. You like to get testy about things when they try to pretend that they're military and then they do it wrong.
Right.
Well, the problem with this is they're pretending to be everything.
Yeah.
With regards to legality, and they're getting so much of it wrong.
Right.
Because if this was a military tribunal...
Well, Stan Lee's got a good point. Maybe they were early.
Well...
Yeah. Then they wouldn't be let into the judge's court chambers.
No, everyone would be...
The judge would not let you stand before them early.
Okay.
Yeah, like, especially within a military court system.
Yeah.
And even within a civilian court system, it would be no different. Everyone would only be allowed in. And
in fact,
when you're in a private...
Anyway, go ahead.
And, I mean, they get so many things incorrect. This might as well be the courtroom dramas written by the freaking... see, I just don't like this episode because I'm going to throw a real big slime ball at it. This was courtroom drama brought to you by freaking She-Hulk.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't like
I'm just having an especially bad day today.
No, that's okay, because at least She-Hulk has, and because I enjoyed She-Hulk more than you, but I will say this: She-Hulk's is a comical farce. This is not. This is trying to be a serious courtroom drama.
Yeah, and that's why for me, this whole episode just
wow.
It just
I'm just a plebe. I don't know.
This whole the frustrating. Okay, so here's the thing that makes it much. This is why my score is not going to be pretty at the end. Everything was acted well. Everything was shot well. Everything for the most part was lit well, and I'll the one thing, and I'll bring it up now because I don't know I'll necessarily fit it in when we get there. But when people are watching the court case, and they're on the Enterprise, the courtroom and the lounge room on the Enterprise are so equally lit that if you don't pay sharp enough attention, you don't actually realize at first that they just switched to a completely different shot.
Yeah.
So there's just...
And I don't understand why they're not in the courtroom. That doesn't even make sense that they're piping a video feed to the briefing room.
Yeah.
But that's a critique for when we get to that.
Yeah.
And so they since she says that they're not going to compromise, they're going to up the charges to include sedition, which makes no sense whatsoever. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
And they're going to and by the way, this is another ridiculous, unrealistic thing they're going to say, and we want 20 years in a dishonorable. The prosecution does not get to pick the sentence.
Well, don't they get to ask to go after kind
No,
of like the
the
death
judge
penalty?
picks
Like
the
we're going
sentence.
after the judge.
The
makes
only
it.
time the prosecution has any determination when it comes to sentencing is under depending on the state. If there is a death penalty possibility, then a lot of the times the jury has to actually approve a death penalty punishment. But even then, the judge has to say, okay, you're going to be executed or you're not going to be executed. So it's the judge's job to determine punishment.
Or in the case of a plea bargain, obviously.
Right. The other thing here is, and this is another thing that really pissed me off, is
Hold up, you got a super.
who would watch a screen on a tilted window? Yeah, that was another weird thing. The screen was had this weird distortion effect.
Mm.
Did you notice that? Like it was taken on a
Yeah.
GoPro or something.
Yeah.
And it's why is that? But thank you, Thomas. And I didn't hear. Did you say super chat?
He did.
Okay.
I did. Yes.
That was such a tight little super chat moment. He was right on it. I clicked the button. You read the thing.
Yeah.
It's like we were professional or something.
Almost. That's scary. That'll never happen. That will absolutely never happen.
Where are you at, Random Menace? I thought you were in the UK. 15 to 20 for weed. That sounds like Texas.
No,
he's in Slovakia.
Yeah, he's in Slovakia, where they have something called the Slovakian slurry.
Stan Lee, thank you so much for subscribing. I got one more, guys. Just need one more. Sorry.
All right, enough.
Wow.
Where you see now derailed again.
So people are late. Plea bargains.
Oh yeah,
asking for what you demanding what they
demanding
want. This and that.
Yeah. So the other thing that they did that really pissed me off in this scene was you notice that they offered her a deal of dishonorable dismissal if she pleads guilty, to which she said no. Now, the way that plea bargains work is that you have whatever the charge is. Let's say you are accused of murder.
How many people, including me, how many people, average, television watchers, even Star Trek watchers? Because I don't know the shit you're about to talk about, and quite frankly, it's boring me. So, do you really think this is a thing that matters to most people?
I don't know if it matters to most people, but it matters to me.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Right.
No.
So the way that a plea bargain works is that you have a charge. So say you're accused of murder. And so then the district attorney says, you know what, Danny, here's the deal. You're accused of murder. We got a pretty good case against you, but you seem like a nice guy. So we'll let you off if you just plead guilty now, so we don't have to go to trial, and you can plead guilty to manslaughter. How's that sound?
Or they'll drop it from murder 1 to murder 2 and give you
Right.
20 years instead of life or something like that.
And
as long as the agreement, the short story is, as long as the agreement isn't completely outrageous, the judge will certify it and then everything will move forward.
Now
but then they still have to go into court and do the thing.
But all they have to do is go into court to ratify, basically
approve it, and then red tape, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Now with this one, they retaliate for her refusing their plea bargain by upping the charges.
Hey, Darth Maul.
Is not okay. And it's not like they retaliated, and this is just my interpretation. They flat out say it in this scene.
Yeah.
They say, well, she refused our plea bargain, so we're going to up the charges. That's not how it works. You don't get to charge them with extra stuff just because you're pissed off at them.
Well, that's not how it works in the American justice system, but this is Starfleet, so it's kind of made up if you think about it.
Yeah, but we all know it's heavily
based on the
influenced by American,
based
both civil and military justice
And
system.
we've seen enough Federation and Starfleet court cases to know that that would not fly.
Yeah.
So yes, that did piss me off because you don't just retaliate. What's the word I'm looking for?
Retaliate.
Yeah, you don't retaliate by upping charges in a hearing like
Hey,
this.
see, that's where ignorance is bliss. None of this bothered me because I didn't know about any of this.
Matthew
stuff.
Ross, She-Hulk law is like you could take She-Hulk and teach it to law students compared to this. You know, this.
Hello, Matthew Ross. Una, well, I mean, Rebecca Romaine. Oh my God,
we got
we're
to the opening
just
credits.
now getting to the opening credits. We are
All right,
definitely
so
going over.
Hotness comes on to the Enterprise, and they give her Una's quarters to work in.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not? You know, which really seems kind of tacky. You'd think they give her guest quarters.
Yeah, talk about an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Hey, you know, the defendant's not here. Why don't you just go through her stuff? You know.
Again, this didn't bother me either, but that's.
And hey, Darth Maul, how you doing? And Daniel, it's irrelevant how hot Una is. That doesn't.
Well, I mean,
matter
like again, she used to be a supermodel, you know, like in her youth, you know.
And then she became a salad.
Oh,
that's her
Mystique?
original name, isn't it?
Yeah, Romaine.
No, Romaine.
Oh, Romaine. Yeah, yeah. She was Rebecca Romaine Stamos because she was married to John Stamos. He got in there early, but apparently couldn't hold on to it. So that's how it is with powerful women.
So this is where La'an says that she thinks she has a hunch that the information might have been gotten illegally.
This is that scene we were talking about earlier. This is the scene we were talking about earlier. So
yeah. So here's This was the big old MacGuffin of nothing. Because we have this scene, we have La'an on the bridge, we have La'an doing all sorts of, you know, trying to track down who could have, you know, and it was nothing. There's nothing. There's no evidence. And by the way, she knows right now that she thinks it's because of her own personal log. She should just tell her. Instead,
but she's hoping it's not, and that's why she's trying to find. She's still investigating. You know, when she finally says, "I've my investigation's come up dry," I think it's, you know.
Yeah, the rest of that conversation that pertains to her logs is actually a little later in this episode, not this one. This is the one.
No,
this is the one.
Where she just says that that she thinks that the information might have been gathered.
Yeah, but this is the one you were talking about earlier, where like the
no. This is the one.
Head, right?
Yeah, no. This isn't that one. This is the one where where the lawyer goes on to her about the whole fact that she's a Sung.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that whole conversation about you know, figuring out who did it devolves into the conversation that we see later, where the whole admission by La'an about her putting in a comment in her logs because she was angry.
Yeah, actually,
because we didn't know why she was going to Aurora asking yet, other than she was trying to dig up dirt.
Who's Aurora?
That's all we knew at that time. I don't know. Whatever. So I also say woof, and my wife absolutely skewers me every time. So sue me. Instead of wolf with the L sound.
Wow, that's how you say wolf?
I always say woof. Yes,
what is wrong
mock
with
me.
You?
Hey,
I'm broken.
Donnie. Hi again, Mom. I actually like this scene. I like how she it starts out. I like this actress kind of impressed me in this scene. She just flipped a switch like that. Like they're having a good conversation, and then she acts like how she would if he were.
This is a good scene where where they're like having they're just talking friendly, and then she shows him exactly what on the hot seat grilling would go. Is that immediate? And the problem is that as soon as they basically got him or her on the stand, it's like you go to when did Pike find out? Because now all of a sudden you do have a conspiracy charge, and that conspiracy charge is legit.
At that point, until they twist it later on in the show.
But the idea of if they could prove that Pike knowingly harbored her and kept her a secret, they could accuse him of conspiracy. Now, the asylum rule overrides that, and apparently everybody in Starfleet forgot about that. Because we could have this episode.
Yeah, contrivances are fun.
Yeah,
I do love this little whatever restaurant on the Enterprise instead of a typical looking mess hall. I think it's pretty cool looking.
Maybe it's their version of 10 Forward. Who knows?
Yeah, I've kind of been considering it as that because it's been highlighted so many times.
It's like the officers' lounge.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Dude, okay, that was oh, you went so fast. Like you had it perfect. Like you had the big smile where she's just they're talking and it's like they're friends, and then you had that scowl on her face where she was going into him, And this scene's funny too.
Yeah, so then you have the
Ortega's doing the voiceover.
Now the funny thing is, and I took as soon as this scene started, I was looking at Spock and the Vag, and that's gonna stick now. But Spock and the Vag are talking. Who, by the way, is it just me or does the Vag look a lot like Nosferatu?
Sorta.
Kinda. It's not a very pleasant looking fellow, that's for sure.
Yeah, but my first thought is these two hate each other. Just looking at the way they're so intently looking at each other, and that they're not moving, and they're very guarded with their posture and everything.
I don't believe this is the Enterprise, Thomas. Is this supposed to be? This is
no. They're on the Enterprise.
This is the Enterprise. Well, I guess maybe Kirk did have the big restaurant removed. I don't know.
Yeah, we just never got to see it. But or there's a refit where they took it out because canon.
Yeah.
Strange new canon.
I really hate that term.
Oh, do you?
Anyway, so while they're having their conversation, and Ortega and Mbanga have their little conversation about how Mbanga, who knows how Vulcans work, is like, these two hate each other, and Ortega's like, what are you talking about?
No, I actually did like this scene. I thought it was funny how she was basically Mystery Science Theater 3000ing them.
With the conversation, and then Spock comes over to apologize for his emotional outburst.
Yeah.
That was a very Spock moment, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It was a little too dry for me when he came over because there was nothing going on over there. But I absolutely did enjoy the Melissa doing her thing. I really love her character.
Yeah, Ortega's like, that was logical.
Okay, I want to weld your vine. I stole that from Stanley. That was funny.
Like she just does a good job with that character. I very much enjoy it. Even
Ortega is the kind of character who you just can tell she loves being on a starship. She loves.
Oh, Star Trek! That would have been hilarious. That would have been funny.
Should have come over to tell her he is Vulcan and they can hear commentary.
That would have been great if he'd come over and said he heard all that.
That would have been killer. At first, I almost thought that might have been what he was going to say when I was watching it, but
that would have been good stuff.
Now here we have La'an goes to Uhura, and basically a lot of these scenes are just so that all the characters can have a scene. And honestly,
I guess I liked how they had Uhura stand up to La'an here.
I'm not saying Uhura did anything wrong here. In fact, I agree. I think Uhura did the right thing as far as telling La'an, no, that's an illegal order, and I'm not going to follow an illegal order, and you shouldn't even be giving it. And La'an did the right thing by backing down rather than try to push it.
Yeah.
I liked the scene. It was a good character moment for the two of them. Yes. But at the same time, this, filler is filler. We're just looking at scenes that are put in there so that these characters can have.
I would disagree. No, because this leads to something. She's trying to invest. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. Are we boring you?
Only a little.
No, it's leading to nothing. That's
No,
the
it does
problem.
because
her investigation yields nothing.
Exactly, but it leads to the moment where she confides into Near that,
which she could have done
I think it's
before the investigation.
But I get her motivation of not wanting to, like wanting to find another explanation. Like, oh God, I hope it wasn't me. I really hope it wasn't me. So she's trying really hard to find out who else it could have been.
And who would you talk to about that? Oh yeah, an attorney.
Yeah, but right now she's doing the investigation, try to get away.
Right. But she would say, I do have my suspicions. I think it's possible that my personal log might have been stolen, and then she could immediately say, no, there's no way that happened.
You got to forget, man. This is entertainment. That's just what you just said is boring. Come on,
that's not boring. It's more. It gives more time for the trial.
Do you not want to be entertained?
Quite frankly, the trial was the most interesting part of the episode, and so it would give us more time for the trial. And I think La'an's investigation was stupid. What do you think, Jason?
I like the La'an character and the way that the actress plays it.
I'm not critiquing the character.
No. This is key to what I'm saying. So the reason why I kind of don't really have a sharp comment is because I kind of don't mind when she's acting, even if fundamentally it didn't really add a lot to the show. It took them to a place that they could have got there a lot quicker, and they could have put something way more interesting in instead. But because I don't mind her acting and her character and her portrayal, it was kind of like, okay, I could take La'an for another 45 seconds of screen time.
Cinnabon has it.
Here's my thing with I agree that I think that she does. I don't care what people say about her. I think she's a great character.
No, she had to back down because she wants to make admiral in a few years. Because earlier we were talking about how she gets promoted.
Yeah, she'll be an admiral probably by season 4. No, the one what I think would have been more interesting is if during the trial she was brought up by the defense as an expert witness. Now, see, this is where you use the term correctly, as an expert witness on genetic modification. And then
that would have made sense.
She says, okay, state for the record your full name. La'an Noonien Singh. Oh, Noonien Singh, that's an interesting last name. Are you at all related to Khan Noonien Singh? Yes. How are you related? Spell it out. Let's put this put it out there. Okay, let's talk about you being an augment. Why, and so get that on the record so that she can then use, why is it okay for her to serve, but not okay for her?
I would have been a lot happier with this episode if La'an's character was actually used as a foil to point at double standards.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
and
that would have made
La'an
sense.
is human. That's the reason.
Yeah. Yeah, because La'an is straight up human, where Una is a different species.
And she's also
augmentation.
She's a few generations removed from the actual.
Yeah, at this point it'd be like 200 years. So that can only be 3 gens away. That's actually not that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, you're talking about, father to son or father to son to daughter to granddaughter. And, like the joke goes, we're only 3 people away from the Civil War at best. So that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So
keep that in mind, folks.
So I think the scene was well done. I just disagreed with it. All right, so then we get the beginning of the trial. And we have one thing that I know Bird mentioned this in his review. I'm curious to see what you guys think. The Tellarite on the panel is referred to as a representative of Space Command.
I have no idea what the heck that is.
Space Command.
That totally threw me, and they never followed up on it.
Right. I was like, and hey, PJ, Orville Nation, good to see you.
Oh, hey, Orville Nation. It's been a minute. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a slip up or what, but
Well, space. The interesting thing is like if you look at the original series, Starfleet Command was referred to as Space Central, and Earth. But it could also be like, is he the commandant of Earth Defense? Like the whatever Space Force becomes in the future. So
Space Force.
Space Commander was a mid-23rd century title for a Starfleet officer in charge of a starship base. So if he's part of Space Command, he's the senior officer in charge of all Starfleet starship bases.
So he's a starbase commandant, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've just never heard the term used.
Which makes sense because then the Vulcan is mentioned as a representative of Starfleet.
Yeah.
And so, which would probably be the ships.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so he's in charge of the fleet yard stations and stuff like that, or something, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
So.
So that's our tribunal. Very nice looking set. I got to say they did a nice job. I mean, obviously, if unless you're dumb, you should be able to tell this is a redress of the Discovery Bridge.
Oh yeah. There's just a giant podium in the middle.
Yeah, and spray painted white.
Yeah.
But,
I did appreciate the use of the bell, though.
Yes. And here's the weird, freaky TV screen that they're watching.
That is weird.
Yeah, it makes no sense. There should be a gallery in the courtroom, and they should be there.
Well, to say nothing of the fact, why don't they make
Appion? Welcome. Wow,
train wreck.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, they could have at least made the screen tilt out. Like, geez, man, like that's a feature you can get in a house today that you can hide your TVs wherever you want. Like, come on. They get so swept. As a side note, I think,
that's a little extreme.
Yeah, but I think, seeing as a side note, that this is where the set designers lose the plot. They think that doing this makes it even more futuristic, when in reality it just makes it dumb.
No, if anything, it would mess up like.
The only way that screen makes sense is if you're sitting directly under it in a recliner.
Yeah.
And so that. Honestly, that screen just bugs me. And granted, they've used the screen before. It's the main briefing room screen.
Yeah, and we saw it in the last episode too.
Yeah, I just think
we did.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just
recess it a little further back in the wall, so that you can bring up the angle a bit.
Yeah.
And Stanley, I don't know if it's a green screen or if there's actually just a big OLED in there. It doesn't really matter. The point is, to them, it's a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, wow, hey, we got some new people in Salty's section. 26 of you are watching, but he's only got 20 likes. Do him a favor, smash that thumbs up. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention to all the new people over there on Salty's channel that I am one away from 300. Help me get to that 300 celebration.
I'm going to kick you off this live stream. Say that one more
I
time.
really can't. I can't. Like, okay.
I don't know. I don't understand.
We'll pimp you out your channel after we're done with the episode. Okay.
All right, fine.
We'll get you to 3. You're going to hit 300 today. Okay, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
But just relax, dude.
Okay. I really want to do a 300 celebration stream, and I'll open it up. Won't that be fun?
Are you gonna do a lot of truffle shuffling?
If they super chat me, sure, I'll do whatever. I'll sit there topless. I'll do whatever they want.
That's a cute way to put that. Orville Nation. We get more Captain Christopher Focus Group Pike.
I love Focus Group Pike. I really do.
What's that show? What was it? Was it a show or was it a movie where somebody was like, "We're gonna do the campfire"? What was that from?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I know what it is. The original NCIS series, the one that had Mark Harmon in it. There was this, I forget which character it was, who was trying to be cool like Mark Harmon, and or like Mark Harmon's character in the show, and he called it Campfire when they would have a little conversation to try to figure out what was going on and what they needed to do.
You know, Danny's not paying attention.
Hey, well, I didn't want to. You said if I said anything about it again, you were going to boot me. So I didn't
well, now you see, now you got to listen to what Gorilla said. Shut up about your subs.
Thank you. I did it. We did it, guys. We did it.
So Gorilla is your 300th sub. So you're going to have to give him a present.
Teamwork makes the dream work. I'll send you any one of my. I know you want the lamp, but I need the money. But I'll send you any of my artwork for free, and I'll give you up to 5. And I'll show it to you. They're already printed and everything. They look nice. So I'll even sign them if you want me to. Hit me up later.
And LD with a $2 super chat says, "Happy 300." This super chat. Give this super chat to Dave.
He's not doing that, but that's sweet. Thank you, LDG. he needs it too.
I will give it to him in spirit.
There you go.
Or in the form of more hot food.
Yeah, that's actually, just so you know. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I talked to the guy that made the bar. He is sending another bar and a little something else to Danny. So
a little something else. Ooh.
Yes.
Something to help clean out the plumbing.
We'll see, but it'll be something you'll be able to use for a while. Anyway, so the trial begins.
Is it like a cooking additive? Is that what it is? Like a cooking additive? You said I could use it for a while. Is it okay? All right.
Tell you.
Come on. It's like, okay. I'm sorry. It's like shaking the box at Christmas Eve, whatever.
Yeah.
So Una pleads not guilty, and so somebody whips out a phaser, kills her. The end.
Thank you, Orville Nation. Oh God, don't give me the bugs. I watched the video of him eating those on LDG's channel the other day. I do not want the bugs.
Yes. Danny, some bugs.
No.
But
hey, Donnie, and thank you.
And so
look at even us watching it, like they're watching it at that angle.
It's disorienting.
It's just looking at a TV at an angle showing the courtroom.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. Just show us the freaking courtroom.
Yeah. Or do like the hollow screen. I'd rather have them do like a floated hollow screen, frankly.
Every shot where they do this, I just want to punch whoever directed this episode. Because
the set designer, frankly.
Didn't they
it's not
set
even
up
that, because usually like this is like a background thing, this monitor, and every once in a while they'll point at it, like when they brought up the map of the Romulan neutral zone or something.
I'm sorry, Cinnabon Bunny. I got to work on my ADD. I need to get my fuel up play. I should have drank some of that. Helps you concentrate. More on that later, though. I got some exciting news for you, Michael, by the way.
Okay. So I take it they came back with...
Yeah,
they weren't too mad at us after.
No, they actually think we're what were the words they used? Irreverent, I think is one of the words.
Yeah.
But
that's one way to put it.
They want me to send.
Unprofessional would be enough.
Sure. They want your address. Is it the one in your description? Because they're going to send you stuff.
I told you just send them that one.
Give them that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to the show.
All right. So every time they use this shot or another shot where we're just looking at the monitor, it's like, that's like if I take my webcam and point it at my monitor so that you can see another feed of a webcam that's on the monitor. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's like redundancy is redundant.
Mm-hmm.
So she gives her opening statement, which deals with the idea that, hey, just because something is legal doesn't make it just. Brings up the idea of all sorts of terrible things that have been legal at one point. It's actually given the circumstances of this case, it was a really good opening statement.
I thought so too. No, she's like.
That being said, it's also a
performed
really crappy opening statement if you know anything about law.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Like the
Yeah.
performance, the performance is good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The performance was good. The points were well taken, but that's not what opening statement.
I'm sorry we didn't finish before you had to go, Cinnabon Bunny. Thank you so much
All right, you
for
take it easy, Cinnabon.
the tip and always being a good sport. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, just so you guys are aware, the opening statement, what the attorney is supposed to do, very briefly, if we were going into trial, it says, okay, today we're here to talk about my client who is accused of X. I'm going to show you over the course of the next few days why X is not true. Those include testimony from these people, this evidence that shows that my client couldn't have done X, and this other evidence that shows that someone else did X. So in conclusion, you will have no choice but to say not guilty to my client because they obviously didn't do X. That's an opening statement. An opening statement is not a diatribe about the evils of the Constitution or something.
Yeah, but you got to understand, she had an ulterior motive here also.
Well, I know. And I actually, so that brings me to what I think is the best scene in the episode, which is the one where after she interrogates Admiral April.
Look at this. Look at that. Oh,
Yeah.
I love. Keep it here for a little bit. I love this shot. Look at that. I'm not saying this in a mean way because I really like this guy. Look at the smug look on his face. He's got no idea.
Yeah, I love Admiral April.
He's got no idea what's coming.
I know that there are some people that really did not like the supposed race swap, but the
It
white
is a race
April
swap.
and the animated, huh?
If this is supposed to be canon, it is a race swap. He is
It
the proof
it
that
depends
this
on
is
if
an
you consider
alternate.
the animated series canon, which
It is canon. It's season 4. Come on. It's not like I'm saying Star Trek continues with Vic, however you say his last name, is canon. I'm
Well, that
saying
clearly is not. The animated series, though, is highly contested even within the confines of the owners of the IP. And because there's stuff in the animated series, like I said, life support belts. Where are they?
Okay, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we already had.
All I
We
know.
went through that rabbit hole last week.
Yeah.
And so Robert April being black is not a canonical issue.
All
Either
I
way,
know
it-
is
I
I
don't bump
enjoy
into
this
it.
guy. I know
I
I
like him a
enjoy
lot.
this
This guy is
as
freaking
the
awesome.
admiral.
So
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't understand why people object to him, because when we saw April in one episode of the animated series, and he didn't do a whole lot. I mean,
Are you correct?
Oh, now I know why I know this guy's face. He was in the science fiction timey-wimey show called Continuum,
Never saw
which
that
was
one.
good right up until it got towards the very end. and
Have
then it just
either of
kind
you
fell
seen
off.
12 Monkeys, the series?
No, not yet. There's no
I
way
haven't
for me
either.
to watch it.
So I think
because it's stuck on Peacock, I think.
if nobody else buys, because I know you got that wish, can you add that to the wish list? Would you be willing to watch
What
that?
show?
Because you have 12 Monkeys. Because I've heard nothing but
I'll add it.
I've
Yeah,
heard nothing but good things.
I've watched. I watched like season 1.
I haven't watched any of it. Yeah, I didn't even know it was a
Okay,
TV
and
show. I thought it was
it
a
is
Bruce
really
Willis
good.
movie. So
Yeah. Oh, have you seen the movie?
yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah. You do not need to see the movie to watch the series because it's a totally different story.
Yeah, it's a retelling entirely from what I understand.
Alex Morris says 12 Monkeys is on Hulu. I don't think they have that in Canada, do they?
No, because Disney Plus is taking over all of that slowly but surely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's see. There we go. 12 Monkeys. Oh, the complete series isn't. It's not that bad. $26.
And
series?
Oh, it's on
Yeah.
sale right now.
Oh, there you go. Sheesh.
Let's see.
So Anthony Mark says he's seen it and he thought it was excellent.
Oh
So,
no,
yeah,
that's for the DVD. Sorry.
yeah,
Blu-ray
yeah.
is 40.
Blu-ray. Yeah, that's fine.
Because we got to do it on the Blu-ray. Sorry. All right.
$100 Canadian for the complete season or series.
Are you serious, man? What is wrong with you Canadians?
It's Amazon too. It's not.
Yeah, but it's only 40.
It's a socialist government, and they
Yeah.
need to tax
only
everything
40
to the
bucks
nth
here.
degree, so
Apparently.
they can pay for shitty health care. Am I right?
Yes,
There we
correct.
go. Right.
Unfortunately.
That makes no sense, dude.
Yeah. 92.77.
Wow.
Or $58 if I only got it on DVD, but Blu-ray's $92.
Wow, that's a huge
crazy.
price
I
difference.
think it should show up in the list now if you refresh it.
Cool. So let's because I want to see a still of his face when the opposite of this here in a second.
Yeah. So, So April is sitting there talking about what an awesome officer she is, and then gets blindsided by the cross examination, where she basically straight up starts calling the guy a bigot.
That's not a good freeze of this. There's one where he gets mad. He gets mad. I want to see that one.
I'm just, dude.
See, that's a good. That's where he's like thinking about. Oh God. That's what that looks like. Oh God.
Honestly, my favorite scene after that whole teardown was in Pike's quarters, which is coming up very imminent.
Yeah, where he won't take the drink. Yeah.
I just
that was
like
brutal.
Yeah,
that
throw
was
shade
probably,
hard.
That was probably one of the best acted scenes.
Yeah.
in the series.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I want to see him. He gets pissed off and stands up. Yeah.
The concept being that, okay, you're saying that you would not have you would not have sponsored her in the Starfleet Academy had you known she was an
Illyrian.
Because that would be illegal. But you violated the Prime Directive on at least 3 occasions.
Oh, I love that. But she brings that up later in a good way. That's why, she blindsides everybody.
The thing, is that they stop her from her line of questioning, but that's where she was going, and they didn't know that.
Yeah,
that she was trying to say that April was an honorable guy.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it sounded like she was ripping him a new one.
But it worked because she knew I feel anyway, if she didn't get to finish it here, she's got her closing statement where she can say pretty much anything,
Right. There's a look for you. He's like,
that's
bitch, please. There you go. That's a good one. Yeah. What did you just say to me? Do you not know I'm an admiral?
Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah, there he is. Now he's like, it's too blurry though.
Yeah. So everybody is like,
okay.
And there's the scene with the drink.
Yeah.
So and Pike is standing there holding that drink forever.
Yeah. And his mic drop line. Where Pike's like, I know, and he's like, and April's like, would have been nice if they got to hear that.
And then just, and I love how Pike's like, well, I'm screwed. Let me just pour it into my.
And he just pours it into his.
But the sad thing is, they would have gotten to hear it had she been able to continue her line of questioning.
Yeah.
They thought that she was trying to indict April, but in fact, she was trying to show how April was correct in his decisions.
Yeah.
So it's really too bad that we didn't get to see that whole thing. But
his last name is April.
And look at that shot. That is
his last name is April.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous.
They do some incredible things with lighting in this episode.
Yeah.
So hats off to the lighting team, because when they use light and shadow so effectively in this,
they really
and this is one of those things because Pike is in his absolute darkest moment here.
Yeah,
and you can see it.
Yeah, actually, if you consider whenever Pike is not in a particularly good mood, or he's supposed to not be in a good mood, the scenes have been darker. Like when he got crusty at his side fling there, or sometimes fling Captain Lady, what's her face, Captain Batel or Batel. It was darker on purpose, I think, but because they seem to be really consistent with how they're controlling their lighting for mood and intention.
Right. And so now this is the scene I was talking about that I really, really like too, is that Una basically reads her the riot act, because this is not the Federation on trial. This is supposed to be her trial.
Mm.
And I do think that there's some, as far as in story, I think that she did need to rein her attorney in a bit. Was it Neela?
Nira.
Nira was trying to grandstand and use the court as a soapbox to try and, get her whole agenda of equal rights for augments. But, and she was like, hey, can we just focus on this trial?
Yeah.
I was talking. I forgot to turn my stuff back. That blew my nose. So I was like, I'll try to remember what I was saying. We, the viewer, knew what her agenda was, and even Pike kind of knew what the agenda was because that's kind of how he enticed her. But Una didn't know, and this is the moment where she kind of finds out.
And Chief Cook, I don't know what your problem is because you were just.
He's just here to throw tomatoes.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. April was awesome.
Yeah, he really was great in this episode. Yeah.
This was his best episode. And, I hope we get to see more of April as time goes on because I actually do really like him.
And this is not going to be popular, I'm sure, especially because there's only 10.
Sorry, Professor. Yes, it is. So build a bridge and get over it.
Right. I really wish they did like the 22 episodes like they used to back in the day. Because if they did, I'd actually love to see a flashback episode with this actor as Captain April of the Enterprise. I'd love to see, but we don't got enough time with only 10 episodes for that.
No.
But like they could do a flashback episode or something like kind of like they did with Menagerie.
Yeah, something. That'd be cool. I don't know. Anyway.
So now we got more of the testimony. So this is the expert character witness scene, which I guess I know I already went on a tirade about that because there's no such thing as an expert character witness.
Comically, there's more qualified due to how much time you've spent with somebody, but there's no such thing as expert.
Yeah,
that's like trying to objectively prove that a form of entertainment is better than another.
That's not. Is that true?
Turn off the cap lock there, Gorilla.
Yeah, is that true? What he said? There's a season that's only 3 episodes of Black Mirror.
Oh, I don't know because
that's
season
ridiculous.
4. Season 4.
That's ridiculous.
Black Mirror,
or 5, one of the two.
Pretty early on.
I forget which one. It was the one that has Miley Cyrus in it. That's the one that only had 3 episodes.
Miley Cyrus was in, but man, I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I watched.
It wasn't a good season. I couldn't even get past the one that had.
I watched a couple episodes, like with John Hamm. Where it was like he got blocked, but like in real life, which kind of leads into my rants, which we're not going to have time for, but that's fine.
Right. But I got to say, I got to agree with what Tom's saying here. Even if you want to consider that episode of the animated series canon, April's a minor character in one episode of the animated series. They got a different actor to play him because obviously they were going to get a different actor to play him. Mm-hmm. And so no matter who it wasn't going to look exactly like the guy from a freaking cartoon. Okay. So, you can get all worked up over it. Fine.
Who's getting worked up over it? I think everybody on this panel.
Professor Brainy Specs and Chief Cook are both really pissed off.
Super anti. Yeah.
I don't want them to unsubscribe from me, so I won't say anything.
So you're going to be the steady Eddie in the middle of the debate, are you?
Well, just until I make sure I can do my 300 celebration tomorrow.
Yeah, Danny's in the neutral zone.
Are you really? By the way, does that mean I don't hear you guys complaining that Dax didn't have forehead bumps throughout Deep Space Nine.
Oh, by the way. Okay, so I got a detour.
Hold on. Why aren't you complaining about that, Professor?
No. I have one that's even better than that. Because I was quick scrolling through a few of the comments coming from Brian and Shane in their video today. And I got lucky and stopped on one where Shane said blah 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 about Journey to Babel or Babel, however you want to say it.
That's the one with Spock's mom.
Yes. That's when we see his parents for the first time.
Yeah.
So I scurried off and managed to slow watch it between things throughout into the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. And guess what? According to that episode, there was only one starship in literally the entire Alpha Quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Literally spoken.
Yeah, we're the only ship in the quadrant.
We're the only authorized Starfleet ship in the entire quadrant. So this is, and yes, I know earlier I was grumbling about continuity stuff, but I'll tell you what, slip ups like that, if this is the level of nitpickery we want to get into, cancel all of Star Trek. We're done. Like, we're just going to have to go have other shows about other things, because clearly they're all inept and nobody can get anything right ever, and
Star
nothing
Trek
makes
has
sense.
Always had gaffes like that.
Oh, and the bad guy ship in Journey to Babel was constantly traveling at warp 10 all the time. But, you know, everyone had to go out of their way to create a revised warp speed scale for that, because all those baddies didn't turn into salamanders.
Yeah, you do know that the whole TNG versus TOS warp scale change is entirely fan based.
Yeah. Oh, I
There's
know.
nothing canonical about it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So,
but in TOS, there were ships going warp 13, warp 14. You know, the Enterprise itself got up to like warp 11.
Hey, Thomas, they didn't just race swap, but they gender and race swapped Boomer.
Yeah. But Battlestar Galactica, that is a complete reboot of the show, and they don't pretend it's anything other.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
And now, if they had changed a major character drastically, as far like say they made Uhura white, yeah, I would probably be a little snarky about that.
Then we would definitely.
If they bring in Sulu, and Sulu is not Asian, or they race swap pretty much any of the main characters from TOS. But April ain't a main character.
Yeah, we do need to move it along. I know originally I said I could stay here as long as, but something has come up, so I do need to try to get through this. No,
all right,
seriously,
so
I got money to make.
Pike is just standing around showing off his hair while the rest are testifying.
Nurse Chapel's sitting there looking like a snack. All right, this is the scene.
Yeah, so. And she's like, she's trying to say, oh, you know, I think it was my personal log. And she's like, yeah, it would take 6 months to get your personal log subpoenaed. There's no way it's your personal log, which does create a little bit of a problem, but you could probably work around it in that Captain Kirk's personal log was used in the Klingon trial, but you could argue that Valeris snuck it off.
Yes.
Valeris was standing outside the quarters, listening to him make that.
Right, but
so
how long?
She had to get a copy of the log.
Right, but she knew when, like, she knew exactly what to get, whereas La'an was trying to get.
Someone would have had to know.
Yeah.
The reality is someone would have had to know. So this was kind of, again, this is why this episode is not my happy episode,
right?
Because there's just so many things that were done that were just kind of.
It tickles me pink that they have a real book like that.
Yeah, but
I know.
And by the way, you know, one thing I really like is the hand lie detector. That is right out of the original series.
It is, yeah.
You know, they didn't change it at all. You know,
it's cool.
I dig that.
Yeah.
And they even show the close up of her hand when they say you don't want to perjure yourself. So they're showing, yep, that's the lie detector. All right.
So, Alex, normally I would love to do this. I could stay up all night, but I got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to sell, and somebody just hit me up and they want to meet at like 6. So I gotta.
We're trying to hurry. What are they trying? What do they want to buy?
Do what?
What are they going to buy?
Oh well, hopefully the couch. You know.
Ooh,
and for how much?
Big ticket item.
$300 if I'm lucky. You know.
If you're lucky.
No, because I've had.
You're a horrible negotiator.
I am, man. I've had 3 people come over here.
What's your list price?
It's $300.
All right.
But inevitably, every time somebody's come over.
What if he comes? If he shows up,
let's get back to the show.
I'll give you $200.
Let's get back to the show. Let's get back to the show.
He's got a couch to sell soon, so let's just
hopefully, because this will be the. I've had 3 or 4 people like come over here to try to buy this couch, and then they don't. So
Yeah.
All right, so back to court they go, and they bring Una onto the stand, who talks. This is where we get the, oh my gosh, over the top, tragic backstory is tragic. And that's why I said rape gangs at the beginning, because this is like, okay, I'm going to outdo everyone's tragic backstory by making my backstory everyone's tragic backstory rolled into one. And by the way, the Federation is discriminating against my people. So why not? Let's add that to it.
Yeah.
And and like I said, so now we know the Federation are straight up racist. So notice Patel has a reaction where the Vulcan's like, yeah, screw this chick.
And that, like, is this where he takes over?
Dicks.
Vulcans are dicks.
Especially this is still in the, you got to remember, like in Enterprise, even though that's about 90 years before this, 80, 90 years before this.
Yeah.
Our relationship with the Vulcans was not exactly peachy keen. You know what I mean? Like,
that's because Vulcans are dicks.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the whole thing.
To which, as a side note, where I did just today go through Journey to Babel, I love how that episode is inconsistent unto its own, where Amanda says the logical way is the better way, and then later on in that same episode, she starts raging out at both her husband.
Logic, yeah.
I hate your logic. Logic sucks.
Guess it's not the better way, huh, Amanda?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so after she gives her gut-wrenching story about how
it was so this scene again.
You told me to hurry.
Stage. No, I know. I set the stage earlier. For those of you who weren't here, I was watching this at like 1 a.m, drinking my sleepy time tea in my pajamas, cuddled up with my cat. Literally had a candle burning, and this scene here had me bawling like a baby. I'm pathetic.
I had you at your most vulnerable moment.
I'm pathetic. I need to turn in my man card. And this is where she has to give up Pike.
That's the shot right there.
Yeah.
Your hand's on the lie detector.
That dude was on a
that's hunt. Because notice he didn't beat around the bush. He just walked up and said, "Okay, when did you tell Captain Pike
Yeah.
And
Thomas,
it's like,
I literally said I cried at this part. I just literally said that,
right.
Thomas.
But this is another part, big legal faux pas, because he couldn't have asked that question. Absolutely, that was an illegal question.
I didn't hear an objection from.
I know there was no objection, and there should have been.
Huh. But to answer Jason's question, he did ask why.
Rule or objection because it was a stupid.
Why do you think there should have been an objection?
Because he was on cross-examination, not examination. He didn't call her to the witness stand because he couldn't. You can't,
right.
But and so on cross, you can only ask questions that pertain directly to what was asked in.
Yes, you're correct.
In examination, so her revealing that information to her fellow crewmates was not a part of her childhood story.
Oh, then that's her lawyer's fault. That should have been an objection.
So that was an illegal question. It should have been objected to, and it wasn't. And that was like one of the worst legal moments in the show. But at the same time, it also makes it so that
he's got such a punchable face, doesn't he? Just want to punch that guy.
Yeah.
Most Vulcans do.
Well, not Ethan Peck's, man. That dude is a sex pot. What are you talking about? Uh-oh.
So, now I want that book, by the way.
Dude, look at that. That's like the Black's Law Dictionary. That's their version of the Black's Law Dictionary or something. I'm kidding.
She whips out the actual legal Starfleet code.
You know, it would be funny if that's not just a jacket on an actual real book that has something utterly not to do with anything in it. Right. It would be funnier if it was full of nothing but lorem ipsum.
Yeah, right.
That would, especially considering that they used Latin for the name of this episode, it would be absolutely hilarious if that was just a giant print of nothing but lorem ipsum text.
And yes, she objected, saying that that Captain Pike was not on trial. That's not even a legitimate objection. When you object to something, you have to give cause for your objection. And cause isn't like a drawn out explanation. Cause is like objection irrelevant.
Yeah.
Objection asked and answered. Objection, this not pertaining to my question, my primary examination. And she didn't do that. She just said, Pike isn't on trial. Well, you're right, he's not, but that's
not what your objection should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Anyway, so she whips out the actual law book and has Patel read the section of law pertaining to asylum. And that's where you get your little mini flashbacks.
I love this. Yeah, I actually really like this part.
Where we realize that, of course, it was she was, her testimony.
She met all the tenets.
Met all the requirements. And the fact that and then she asked the last big question, who turned you in? And she says she did, which, of course, is, she says, so she's asking for asylum. She turned herself in, which although, you turned yourself in like what, 20 years later? I mean, that's not exactly timely in that, but okay.
Yeah, but the stretch was, the idea was, oh gosh, I keep getting these notifications. Sorry. That threw me off. What were you saying? That stupid notification.
The waiting 20 years or whatever.
Oh yeah, the implication there was, and they actually say it later, is that after she turned herself in, she asked Pike for asylum, and he gave it to get him out of the conspiracy charge.
Right.
Basically, yeah. So,
and so basically, they would have to dismiss her charges and grant her the asylum, which they in turn do.
Did she drop? I can't remember. Did she place the book down, or did she like drop it?
She placed it on the table in front of the Tellarite.
In front of the
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain. I had her dropping it.
Yeah. So they say not guilty, and they grant her the asylum, and everybody's happy and singing Kumbaya. And number one beams back onto the ship for the first time, and then she and her lawyer make out for a minute.
They don't make out.
Look at that. She's going in for the kiss right there.
It's very misleading. It kind of like it's kind of like bleeping out harmless words to make it sound worse than it is. That's what you're doing here with these pauses. They do not kiss.
Uh-huh.
They do hold hands for an uncomfortably long time. And somebody in the chat, I don't remember who, claimed that they were married or something.
Chief, all of the senior admiralty were wearing blue, but that's been across the board throughout Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Keep going, Danny. Sorry.
Oh no, I can't remember. Somebody in the chat earlier said that these two were a couple, but that was never blatantly said. I mean, this is really the only part.
The only inference is the hand holding. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just goes on a little touch too long.
It is a little bit much, but honestly, if you just cut a couple of seconds off that shot, I think nobody would have thought anything of it.
Yeah, and Stanley, you're right. I mean, it can go either way. Like I don't
know, because female friends are much more touchy feely than male.
Yeah, it could go either way. So,
well, it's just the only problem is we got
like if me and Jason were doing that, it would be kind of weird.
Yeah. We've got Transporter Chief Kyle got kicked to the curbs for Don't Know Jay, and then she had her little spiel of all the corrected social incorrectnesses in her opening statement, and then we get to the end of this, and then the overly long hand holding. And we know what Akiva was like in Discovery. So
look, I'm not saying. Look, until they blatantly tell me.
No, I know, but they need to.
Yeah,
I don't care either. Unless they bring this character back and they start like doing the nasty all the time, I'm not going to care.
Well, the reason why I care is because as much as some people seem to think it was great,
Darth Maul. I misquoted it. It was Darth Maul. He said maybe married. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So no, I don't think so, because Darth Maul, I think that the idea that I got was that she held a grudge against her and her family for going to the non-Ilorian city for trying to pass.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that was the last time they saw each other. I get the feeling they were childhood friends, and the last time they saw each other was her family leaving to live with the conformists.
Yeah. No, because when she's giving that testimony, they're looking at each other. You can tell it's like basically
how many times she threw little digs like, yeah, some of us either couldn't or chose not to, to do that kind of crap.
I thought it was where is Ariel? That's a good question, Mom. She's usually throwing money at Salty by now. I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, go ahead.
But I do want to say this. So Thomas is 100% right here. She should have at least been found guilty of lying to Starfleet, because she did lie on her application, and gotten a reprimand, maybe a demotion. If they're going to let her continue to serve, which they shouldn't let her continue. They should not let her to continue to serve.
This is the only at all your military points and all the BS and blah blah blah. Since they did continue to let her to serve, I actually do agree with that. I do agree with that. They should have found her guilty on the one count of lying to Starfleet. However, her punishment was reduction in rank. So instead of lieutenant,
at the very minimum,
now she's lieutenant.
Although honestly, because she is an Illyrian or Illyrian.
Yeah.
Get that right. Because she's an Illyrian, she should not be able to continue to serve. And so she should have to take an honorable separation, but as a lieutenant commander. So
it would be like kind of like what T'Pol was, like not actually a Starfleet officer, but still served on the ship, kind of thing.
No, she well, I don't know. I mean, that's not really. I don't think there's really much precedent for that. T'Pol was part of the Vulcan, their
command or something.
Yeah. But
LDG says she should get a raise. Sorry,
but seriously, why? Because here's the problem: is that they didn't change the law. It's still illegal for an Illyrian to serve in Starfleet. That is still against the law.
Yeah, she's technically only covered by asylum at the moment.
Right. And asylum doesn't mean, hey, we're going to make you an officer in the military. That's not asylum.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it was good enough for me. I'm a scab. I never served in the military. I'm sorry. I thank everyone, including, my cousin, my father, my grandfather, and everybody who's ever served. But I guess that's where I'm lucky and stuff like this. I get to suspend disbelief. I don't know what I don't know. Right. Other than what they show me, and I found this episode to be very entertaining.
All that being said, I said at the beginning, and I will maintain, this is a very well acted. Of all the court episodes of Trek, I think probably the best acted, definitely the best lit. And I mean, and overall, just wonderful production value from beginning to end. The writing, it needed a complete rewrite. That's the only major problem, is that because their legal jargon was off, and the case makes Starfleet literally racist. And because now it is canonic that Starfleet and the Federation is openly discriminating against one specific species. And so...
No, it's not one specific species. That species happens to fall under the category of genetically modified. It's all genetically modified, not just.
But what about the Binars? Why are the Binars allowed to serve?
Well, that's in next gen. Like I said, this is probably what starts. This case sets precedent that helps change the law, just like in all those other examples I gave earlier.
No, but remember in TNG they talk. Well, the TNG era, we've got the whole Bashir problem. So we know that it was never.
Yeah, the law is not changed by TNG. And yet the Binars are there. I mean, that's one of those inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Because the Binars were written before they decided to make it so that there's a law against being genetically augmented.
Yeah.
But All right, so let's start talking about ratings and rantings. All right, so because I gotta hear this.
I hate to be so ouchy with the score on this one because, again, from the production side, the episode was done well, but the writing was just so bad for me. It's a 4.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, you're muted, Danny, I think.
No, I was just.
Oh, your wow was
He's
just so
mouthing
blown
it.
away that you just couldn't even.
The word.
This
vocal cords
this
didn't
was this was like petting the cat backwards. Like this episode just irked me. I don't know why. And even with going
Put it
through
back
step
on
by
Jason.
step,
He's still talking.
even going through frame by frame, so to speak, with this, like there's too many issues that just drive me around the bend. And the funniest thing of all is there's 2 easier ways that could have solved this. One, they could have actually used, like I said earlier, the whole Noonien Sung thing could have been used as a much better foil.
I do like that idea. Yeah. That's
And 2, if they were really good writers, they would have actually taken this whole thing with Asylum and built that up in season 1 and then sent it over the fence in season 2, rather than this foolishness with Una not having faith that her captain would figure out a way to make this work. Because functionally, she basically didn't trust that they were going to be able to make this work.
Right.
So there's way better ways that they could have handled this. And that's why, for me, the writing is just a 4.
So,
all right.
So
you give the episode overall a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. All right, Danny.
Wow. I guess I'm just a Strange New World simp. I like this episode a lot. I really did. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I'm not going to let you guys sway me. I came in here planning on giving it an 8. I'm going to continue I'm giving it an 8. I liked it a lot.
Okay, so that's all you're going to say?
I mean, I've already kind of said my piece. I like it. Very, very well acted. I choked up. I choked up a couple times. I flat out cried once. I really got to get my estrogen levels checked. I liked it. I did. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. It was. I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said. An 8 out of 10, solid for me. Yeah.
So you guys know my basic premise of when I rate something. If it's a 5, it means that if the choice is watching paint dry or watching this episode, is a coin toss, right? So if it's less than a 5, it means I would rather do nothing than watch the episode. If it's more than a 5, if I have nothing to do, I'd rather watch the episode. So
thank you, Anthony.
I will say this. I think that the writing was atrocious as far as the way they handled the legalese and the fact that they now establish that the Federation is a racist organization. It's institutionalized racism on an interplanetary scale. However, I also agree with some of the stuff that Danny was saying. I think it was overall a very entertaining episode. I think it was incredibly well acted. I loved the attorney character. She, every time she opened up her mouth in court, I was just in that moment. She was just great.
You know why I love the law? I love that, how she opened that up.
So there were some really strong points to the episode. So would I say paint drying this a toss up? No, I'd rather watch this episode. But was this a really good episode? No, I think so far this is probably, in my opinion, the weakest episode of Strange New Worlds. So I'm going to give it a 6. So I'm going to split the difference between the two.
Right on.
Which means that our average score makes it a 6.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So,
which actually means that between the 2 episodes, the average is 7. So
yeah, so
not
we're at
bad.
7 for season 2.
So,
but 6 for this episode. And yeah, I don't think that.
Do me a favor. I wish there was more of this in our community. Would you put up Anthony Mark's most recent comment?
There
we go. So because he gave it a 4, and I was reading this on Twitter, and that's why before the show, that's why
that's why we call this Nerdfights.
But I like that most people are not like Anthony Mark here in our community for whatever reason. They're like, you're wrong and you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about. Where he's like, we disagree, but I respect you for giving it an 8, even though I thought it was a total shit fest. So I just wanted to point that out. I really do appreciate.
That's a good thing very good thing to encourage, because I got to say, when I shuttled through the Brian and Shane's video
podcast,
at the end, Shane's been doing this in a few different videos, and I strongly endorse that we need to take this attitude on. At the end, if you enjoyed this show, good. If you didn't enjoy this show, like me, well, that's a me problem. It shouldn't be made to be everybody's problem.
Right. And entertainment is entirely subjective. And so if you are entertained by something, then by all means be entertained by it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't bother me if you love Discovery, even though I might think it's a garbage fire. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't hurt me for you to enjoy something. And the whole premise of Nerdfights is that the three of us have very different perspectives on most things. About the only thing we've all agreed on so far is that Battlestar Galactica is effing awesome.
That's why we need to change the the Battlestar show name needs to be not something else. It's got to be that salty,
salty love.
Yes, nerdgasm, salty love.
But as far as everything else, we argue a lot because we have very different perspectives on things, and that's the whole point. And so and I will tell you that I have no, I'm not a tolerant guy. I'm not going to sit there and preach peace and tolerance. If you're going to sit there and say that someone is a bad person because they like something, or they're a bad person because they don't like something, then I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Because I got more important things to worry about.
Although I see Ariel's trying to throw some hand grenades there. Danny's the only one that's right.
Oh.
Well, if I don't like the show, it's because
now
it's undeniably
you show up, Ariel.
Yeah, at the last minute to pull a pin and toss your grenade and run.
Deuces.
No, but apparently Bird of Prey 5 is the only one who can be right. But
well, hey, whether we agree,
scores are all, he either gives it like it's a 9 out of 10, it's a 1 out of 10, it's an FU out of 10, it's an awesome out of 10. I mean, it's like there's nothing but
the bird scoring system seems to be of the manic depressive nature.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, at the end of the day, what I love about the three of us, and I believe most of our audience, because I haven't really fought with anybody in the audience too much, is that whether we agree or disagree, we're still friends at the end of the day. It's not that big a deal.
Exactly.
And then that's how it should be.
Well, like for example, Professor Brainy Specs here, he hated this episode, but he hates Strange New Worlds as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
He hates pretty much, as far as I know, and you correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm mischaracterizing you, Professor, by all means correct me, but he hates pretty much all new Trek, and that's fine. If I know that I've argued with people over whether or not Lower Decks is a decent show. I think it's hilarious. Some people find it offensive, and so the professor says Strange New Worlds craps all over TOS, where I don't think so. I think that it enhances TOS. But that's just the way that we look at it, and the funny thing is that like one person will look at the Gorn in Strange New Worlds and say, I can't believe it. Like, Shane and
Brian,
thank you. Had a brain cramp. Shane and Brian will sit there and say, I can't believe how much they butchered the Gorn. It's an abomination and all that. And it's like, really? Because you thought the Gorn on Enterprise was good? Or you think the guy in the rubber suit, that's what you want. You want a guy in a rubber suit to be walking around the the new Enterprise going,
Yeah.
Is that really what you want?
You know what's funny though? I gotta get this out. But between Professor's comment that you had up and just what you just said about Brian and Shane not being happy about the butchering, that presumes intent.
Yeah.
Like when we're using adjectives like that, that presumes intent. Like no, or adverbs, however, whatever, if the grammar police show up, take your pick. When you're describing it that way, you're inferring intent. And yeah, I mean, these people are not super fans. That is an absolute thing.
Right.
Like Major Grin has absolutely proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that no matter how much Terry Metalis claims that he's a super fan of Star Trek, he is not a super fan of Star Trek.
He's just really good at digging up member berries.
Yes. Because there's been some very big mistakes that he's made, both in the show and off camera from the show, in interviews and live streams, where he's been like super wrong. Hey, it's all gone, basically.
There's only one producer in current Trek that I believe is a genuine fan of Trek, and that's Mike McMahon.
No, not you. Not you, Jeff. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that produce the shows. I'm talking about Terry Metalis. I'm talking about even Brian Fuller, for that matter, who was involved at the early stages with some of these new shows.
But Mike McMahon, he is, if you've ever listened to him talk about it, he's a real fan.
Yeah,
but he's also working on Lower Decks and poking fun. He's poking the bear, and he's poking the bear all the time on purpose. But if you look at the way that Lower Decks is, a lot of the pokes are things that they're loving pokes. He's poking at things that are real.
Yeah, it's like the gentle, ribbing that guys would typically give each other if they've known each other for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of the producers, Kurtzman and all those guys, no, to them, this is just a show. But at the same time, guess what? That's true of most of the people that have produced some of the best Trek.
Well, I mean, the ultimate example is still, dang it, and I'm not even going to be able to pull his name out of the air at the moment. The director of Khan and Undiscovered.
Nicholas Meyer.
Nicholas Meyer,
yeah. He actually had to go butch up on original series shows before he even touched the script barely for Wrath of Khan, because he'd never watched a show ever. He had no interest in doing science fiction, but he managed.
He wanted to do his submarine, military drama. That's why you can see the militaristic, the suits, the commands, all of that.
And if you look at even people look at people that I have a lot of respect for, Ronald D. Moore, right? I love Ronald D. Moore. You know what he's never been a fan of? Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica. It's like when he first was offered Battlestar Galactica, he's like, sure, let's take a look at this. Hey, you know what? Let's make Starbuck a woman. That'll piss people off. And he's actually said this in interviews that he did it, and he knew it was going to piss people off. And he was like, bring it on. Let's stir up the controversy, because the more we do that, the more interest we'll get in the show.
Smart guy.
So he gender swapped Starbuck. That was the first decision he made when he became a showrunner, and he did it purposefully. It wasn't just, oh, hey, Katie Sackhoff is awesome. Who can we put her in as? No, they were like, let's make Starbuck a chick. And he did it to turn the whole formula upside down. But Battlestar Galactica Reimagined is a freaking awesome show.
It really is. Hey, if you guys, I know we're going over and I do have to leave in a couple minutes, but for now anyway, every Wednesday, we're going over Battlestar Galactica episodes one by one. And this week's episode is, or this coming Wednesday's episode rather, is
The one after 6 degrees of separation.
it's
Colonial
blood,
Day?
flesh and blood, flesh and
Flesh and
bone,
Flesh and
flesh and blood, flesh and something. I just made the thumbnail. It's flesh and blood, I think.
blood.
Flesh and
Chasing
blood.
the internet's lack of speed for me here. Yeah, flesh and bone. That's the
Flesh
crazy
and bone.
one.
Okay. Yeah, with
that's
the
when,
with
the
the airlock guy.
interrogation.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's
Leoben
gonna-
get the airlock. Yeah.
You know, Ariel, Flesh and Sex. I think that's a totally different
Yeah. Whoa.
show. But if you ever want to, do a private stream with me,
we're not talking.
I was going to say, is
get a
she
room.
making a show pitch to Netflix or something? What's
You're
going on there?
renting a basement, right? You could like make a corner a dungeon for you and Ariel.
Hey, I can use a sex slave. Why not? It's been a while.
So Ariel, if you're interested, Danny's got a dungeon for you.
Well, maybe not yet. So,
if she said she'd come there, you would just say yes, sight unseen.
whatever. Anyway, so let's see. I was right. Flesh and bone. Yes, flesh and bone. So that's what we're doing Wednesday, and it's a fun episode. You guys ought to come check it out and join us. So after that programming note, I'm going to pass it off to this guy here to send us off.
Indeed.
So remember, you're the salt of the earth. I'm the salty trekker. We're gonna burn his face off soon, and that's gonna be fun. Yeah, you just wait. And Danny's wrong about the score. That's pretty much all there is to
Hey,
it.
ultimately,